It's time for some hostile therapy. All right, welcome back for another episode of Hostile Therapy on Thursday at 7 p.m. Oh, did I freeze up some?
Freeze.
My face done froze up a little bit. Hold on, let me get there right quick. Fix my face.
Fix your face.
All right, there we go. All right, now welcome to another episode of Hostile Therapy on a cold Thursday night in North Carolina. Back here with Big Red and returning for another episode is Chris Styles. Welcome back, man.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. Definitely appreciate you for having me back.
No problem, man. How's it feeling out there where you're at?
Cold, bold, and I'm ready to roll.
Cold and ready to roll. Okay.
Snow is maybe snow out there yet? It's snowing here right now.
Not a drop. It's cold, but I think it's still in the 40s. I think tonight is going to drop and get into the 30s. I will say this. I don't know if this is any different with you. And maybe it's because it's where I've lived at here. It doesn't get that cold here compared to, up north cities. And of course, we don't get no snow here compared to up north cities that get 8-10 inches and 2-3 feet worth of snow, and they still go to work and still go to school. But I used to hate the cold. I mean, I still somewhat hate the cold, but I've gotten used to it as I've gotten up in age.
Right.
I don't know if I just got, they talk about people, men with old man strength. And I don't know if I got old man tolerance now. I'm just good. My skin has gotten better as I've gotten older. I can tolerate cold winds because I can tolerate. Well, I can't tolerate people. I just hate everybody. But I guess all my focus is into hating people, so I don't hate the weather anymore like I used to.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know. For me, coming from up north, it was like summer out here for a long period of time in Virginia. Even during the wintertime, you could wear sweaters or a little coat, you good. But these last couple of years, it's gotten a little bit colder. But yeah, I've always been, as long as I got something around my neck, got something on my hands, I'm good.
So you don't go outside in like shorts and like a hoodie?
Oh no,
nothing like that.
Look, I ain't that crazy, and I can't go out there with a hoodie. But
yeah, I can get with that. It's just I just don't understand why the bottom half. Why is the legs are all right, but the top half is all covered up. I never understood that.
I gotta even if I gotta put a scarf or something up here to block the air from getting up through here, hey, I'm good. But if that ain't happening, I'm out of the weather. I don't play them games, bro. I got bronchitis and stuff like that, because you have asthma, bronchitis.
Right.
Any switch coming from hot to cold or cold to warm, hot really quick.
Yeah, man. I went to Denver, man, like a few weeks ago, and there were people out there in shorts and white beaters. There were people in pools, outside pools, and it was one day, I know it was in single digits in temperature, and that they were outside in pools.
It was
you already know who I'm talking about too.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
I don't have to say who I'm talking about, but yeah, they were just as happy as could be, and I'm covered up to the 9.
For real.
Coats, long johns, shirts under shirts, hat on top of a toboggan, freezing to death. Well,
yeah, their parents or peoples must have put them in freezers growing up.
It must have been,
for periods of time or something.
I'm not handling that. That's I can't do that. But this this is going to segue into the first story because it actually may make me feel a little better about the code because this story is kind of hot right now for what
Okay.
happened with this certain person. You heard about the story about the young lady? I use that term probably loosely. The young lady that was with the rapper Drake, and
Yes.
they had a tryst. They had a sexual encounter. They were at a
Encounter.
hotel and they did their thing. Drake finished off whatever he was doing, had a condom on, his sperm was in the condom. And instead of, I think we talked about this earlier, instead of just flushing the condom, getting rid of it in case somebody would go behind him, get the condom, and try to impregnate herself,
Hmm.
which does happen in this world, believe it or not. He took the condom and put hot sauce in it. And
Hot sauce.
yeah. So, and the reasoning behind this, from what I understand, was to denature the sperm. So, if said person was to use it and try to impregnate themselves with the leftover sperm in the condom,
In vitro.
yeah, that's another form of birth control, I guess.
Yeah,
Hot
that's
sauce.
crazy.
But then the girl, not knowing that he put hot sauce in the condom, went and retrieved the condom from the trash can. Still don't understand why he didn't just put it in the toilet. And maybe along with the hot sauce, she retrieved the condom from the trash can, tried to put it inside her, tried to get pregnant and become an instant millionaire. And it burned. And she received some injuries down there. And now she's trying to sue Drake for denaturing the condom with hot sauce.
He said teenager condom with hot sauce.
Yeah.
But Big Red, I mean, what type of woman, how foul can she be if he didn't do his business inside her naturally when they was doing their thing? And for her to go in after the act was over to retrieve it and put it inside her
Right.
is I can't even I don't even know what type of person that would be. And I'm thinking still that she was smart. Anybody who got hot sauce that I've seen is never clear. It's red or it's green. You see what I'm saying? It had to have some type of coloring to it or something like that. That would even make me even like, I ain't doing this. This is strange. You know what I'm saying? It'll bust some questions. I mean, you had to look at it in order to unravel it from its paper container, which is wrapped around it, to unwrap it and to actually see what the stuff is still put in its. I don't get it. Not unless it was colored.
Well, maybe because maybe she. Most people, well, I don't know. Speaking of me, I like to have relations in the dark or tinted light, and so she wanted to stay with the mood, and so maybe she put the condom inside of her in a more romantic setting. She didn't turn the lights on when she did this. She wanted to keep the romantic setting going. The condom. And put it inside her and pretend like Drake actually busted inside her. And yeah, that's where she got burnt.
Or was she colorblind?
Could have been. Very well could have been. But she can never say she didn't have a hot night with Drake. She can never claim that.
Never. That was hotter than hot.
But you know what? It's crazy. She's suing him now. And I think there's a strong chance she could win.
Yeah,
she shouldn't. There's a strong chance.
She shouldn't. But on a technicality where somebody may have been negligent, not meaning to hurt somebody, a gag joke or even protecting themselves. Just as an example, you might have gotten a fight with somebody, or they wouldn't get out your way, and you pushed that individual person, and that person fell down, maybe broke an arm. They may have, broke a finger, an ankle, something, or could even have died from. They might have fell down after you pushed them because they wouldn't get out your way, and fell down and hit their head, and vice versa. So, you indirectly caused harm to that individual person, whether you had the right to do it or not had the right to do it. You still harmed that person indirectly. You didn't mean to hurt them. You just wanted to get them out the way so you can continue on with your day or do what you was doing. And that does actually happen. So this may be one of those cases. But again, if I was on the quote unquote jury, I'll be one of the ones to kind of put my vote into nay. Because it's just foul. It's completely foul, bro.
What kind of person would, I just don't understand, what kind of person would end up doing that? I know she looks at it as an instant lottery ticket because what's going to happen. For what I heard, Drake set this up as just a sexual tryst. It's not like they were together or anything. Like, she had to sign NDA forms that she couldn't talk about the night or whatever, and he went to her specifically just for a one night stand, and that was it. And then, try to turn that into something else.
I feel like had she said no, it would have never happened.
Right.
But since, it's like an opportunity to try to take advantage of a situation. You had somebody come over, they spend a night with you, they think you sleep, and you catch that person going to open up your wallet. You wake up and, you know what I'm saying? It could end bad for you because you was being an opportunist and you got hurt. So a lot of things could be explained in different ways to counteract what she's trying to do. And like I said, she had to be out of her mind, deranged.
I don't think she's out of her mind. I think this is a common thing.
Yeah.
I've heard of stories like this, not with just celebrities, just regular civilians, period. And I can imagine that happens a lot with celebrities where women are actually trying to do this.
Yeah. I feel like too, I don't know how to stop it, except for those who are placing themselves in these situations. You just have to protect and do yourself one a little better. You're gonna have to wrap it up, flush it down the toilet when you get done, or put it in your own private hazardous bag that when you leave, you take all that with you and throw it away or dump it somewhere else. It's the only thing I can say to kind of protect yourself at this point in time.
Have you ever had to go to that kind of extreme to make sure to clean up behind yourself, for lack of a better choice of words?
For a period of time when I just didn't trust, especially for something brand new, you really don't know who you're dealing with. I just always either wrapped it in, flushed it.
Right.
Let me tell you something else too. I used to live years ago. This happened to me in the 90s, so I'm still in my 20s. And one time something actually happened to me in my 30s, like maybe when I was 34, something like that. And I was living with another gentleman, and we shared a place together. And the only other time that I had relations, used the condom, wrapped it up, and threw it in the trash can. But there's another man in the house who has relations.
Right.
We share one bathroom. Well, the chick that I was seeing at the time, and I still don't understand why people do this. If I go in somebody's bathroom, I may glance to look at certain things, but I'm going there to do what I got to do, and I'm getting the hell out.
Right.
You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking at people at certain, I'm not opening my cabinets. I'm not looking at this shit. I'm not doing none of that. So her as an individual, I don't understand why she's even looking in the trash can in the first place. And she's like, oh, there's condoms in there. They're the same kind as yours. And this and that. You had somebody. Look, first and foremost, you're not my woman, first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever I decided to do in my bathroom where I pay rent has nothing to do with you. But I do have another individual in this house. You don't know if I wasn't here, didn't stay here 2 days, 3 days, and come home or whatever. Like, I'm not looking in that, I'm not digging my hand and looking in the damn trash can. Are you like, what's wrong with you? Oh man. So an argument pursued out of that, and the boo-hooing and all that type of, go ahead, go and get the stuff. You got to go. It was too much for me.
All for nothing, pretty much.
All for nothing, brother.
Right. Well, I would hope that she does not win this case like that.
I don't either.
Because if she does, that's going to set a new precedent. Maybe not a new precedent. Maybe this has happened before, where somebody has set somebody up like this. Well, he didn't set her up. That's what I think is going to be framed as. He did this, either saying this was negligent or he set this up to intentionally hurt her. I think that's how it's going to be framed. And she might possibly win. Maybe it still kind of dodged the bullet, because I don't know how much she's going to get with the stress when she sues. Maybe she get $1 million, maybe she get 100,000. I don't know, but I think it's still going to be significantly less if she put it in and still got pregnant. So yeah, he probably still dodged the bullet on that one.
Bro, I'm honestly hoping that this even get thrown out, or even if it has to go to trial, that just in any behavior like this, for any woman, it's just like a man trying to purposely poke holes in his condom to get a female star, somebody pregnant, or trying to break it on purpose just to and say, "Oops, I'm sorry, my bad," and get her pregnant. I used to always, I remember back in the day, Dave Chappelle, when Oprah was supposed to have his baby.
He was so happy.
I'm so happy.
I said, I got you.
Yeah, he went and quit his job, quit the network, everything. That shit was funny, bro.
Wouldn't everybody?
Huh?
Wouldn't everybody? I mean, let me. I always joke about this. Stedman. Okay, they're not married, but they're life partners, whatever you want to call it. Stedman been with her at least 30, 40 years, right?
Right.
You know what he does? For a living?
What does he do?
He's a motivational speaker. And I was like, most of the time when you go hear a motivational speaker, they tell you what they went through to get to where they're at now. And I'm like, what are you going to tell people that you went through to get where you're at now? That you struggle through college loans, and then and then I found Oprah, who's a billionaire, and I married her. The end. Pay me my money. That's an easy speech.
I read your life story, but how did you get to Oprah? Look, how you finessed that, son.
I just had to pretend like I really liked her, and there you go. And I didn't even have to marry her. Still get paid.
Yeah, I think a life partnership, depending on what state you moved in, it's still like common law marriage
Mhm.
after so many years.
Right.
You know, so I guess she was like, no, I'm going to keep my places and you keep yours.
Basically, as I remember when they, I think she caught COVID or he caught COVID. One of them, I think, got COVID,
Hmm.
or they wasn't sure. They thought one of them may have it, but they had a luxury that most people don't have. Like, say you and your wife got COVID, or you just got COVID, and she had to go um, to one side of the house or whatever, or you had to stay in your room. She had to stay in the kitchen or something like that.
Hmm.
She had another part of the house, or no, she had him his own little house, a little that he could stay in while she quarantined. Yeah, I think she had it. She had him his own little house. Now I don't want to say little house,
Right, right,
huge
right,
house beside the main house he could stay in while she quarantined.
right,
Like, that's only a luxury that a high millionaire to billionaire, which she is, can afford. So
right.
Stedman's like, do whatever it takes. That's my motivational speech. Do whatever it takes to get Oprah.
That's hilarious, man. But yeah, I would like to hear the tape. I would like to hear the conversation, the day and night that he finessed her.
I mean,
uh,
yeah. See how that's gonna work on anybody else. But the thing is, how many billionaire black women do you know?
mm, I don't know. You
Just
know,
just try to think of one besides Oprah.
now I have met maybe two black female millionaires.
Hmm.
But nah, not a billionaire, not even close.
I'm trying to think, is there another one besides her? And I know Bob Johnson, the guy who used to own BET. He was his wife before they divorced. And I think she got half or whatever, and so she became a billionaire off of that. I'm trying to think, is there another one besides those two?
I'm going to do my research on that, and I have to get back with you on that piece.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to look at. All right. Let's move on to the next story. Let's see. Yeah. Did you hear about the story of the woman who took the requirements, and we were talking about COVID like a minute earlier, who took her requirements to protect herself from COVID, I guess, a little bit too seriously? The woman who went and took her son to get COVID tested, and she put her son in the car trunk. So I guess so she wouldn't get infected.
No. What? Do me a favor.
What's up?
Run that back one more time.
Okay. There was a teacher in Houston. He's under fire, or whatever. She went to take her son to get tested for COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Who was 13, and she put him in the trunk of a car to, I guess, prevent her from catching COVID on the trip to the testing site.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Yo,
real. It's in Texas.
I don't know what it is about Florida. I don't know what it is about Texas, Houston, Dallas. I don't know what it is about California and New York, Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Big
But
cities.
a lot of folk really went off the deep end on certain things.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably already been exposed to it, but to put her own child into a trunk as to separate,
Right.
there's no rhyme or reason for it.
This is the extent that people are, I guess, so afraid of getting sick from it. But what would have happened if he was in the trunk and somebody just rear-ended it and he'd be dead?
He could be dead.
Yeah.
Would
Car
it be-
accidents kill people too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He could have had a anxiety or fear attack in the trunk and died. What if it was extremely cold? And, I mean, it's just so many possibilities of things could have happened. Or she pressed on her brakes and
it just bounced around in there. There's no seatbelt.
Right.
And 13 years old. He just, I don't know what
fractured, broke his arm or something. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's so many possibilities of things that could have happened with her putting that kid in the trunk like that, man. That's awful.
Yeah, I can imagine they put my big behind in the trunk. Once I had to go, get a test for it. So imagine if they had to put me in the trunk of a car. I'm not getting in the trunk of anything for any reason.
Absolutely. Look, if that's the case, I'm probably not going to be breathing before they put me in there.
Right.
Facts.
I'm going to be fighting you. You're not going to be just put me in the trunk. That's where they put people when they kidnap them.
Exactly. I'm not a piece of luggage. I'm not a carry-on. I'm not a backpack or groceries. None of that.
Yeah. And I understand people got fears of it, but I'm like, people can. Would you do this for? I know it's not the same death rate for it, but would you do this for the flu or cold or something? I mean, people do die from the flu too, not as much as COVID, but that's a little bit too far. I think. I mean, I guess you wanted to stay within the guidelines of 6 feet. I think the length from the front seat to the trunk is probably 6 feet. I'm sure that's 6 feet. Probably more than 6 feet, especially if she had a Chevrolet Caprice. That's like 8 feet probably.
Yeah.
Or a Cadillac. Cadillac might be about 20 feet, depending on which one you
got. Yeah, man, that's crazy though. But
here's the thing: she didn't get charged with anything either. They didn't. They found no reason to give her any endangerment charges for it, so she went away scot-free.
Now, let me ask you: was it a situation of privilege?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
And the only reason why I'm saying this because if it was us who did that, it'd been a whole different story.
You possibly could say
that. Weird situation. I had posted on my page today about the issues of men. On how DT Don Chump.
Oh yeah.
And they're allowing his documents and different things to become public access, and plus that's going to be used against him, in court and all these different things.
Yeah.
And they were saying something about, is this fraud or is this exaggeration, or he just overly inflated his stock, his prices, different things like that to, have a better outcome on his taxes, to reflect how much he lost and all this other kind of stuff like that. Listen, we had movie stars. We have regular Joes and Schmoes that work every day that did not and could not get away with this. I'm just saying if it was one of us with the shoe on the other foot, we wouldn't be walking out here on these streets right now for no reason. And the article would have been saying something totally different.
Because he's a cult figure. He's the cult of personality. He can get away with stuff like that.
He's so cold.
Yeah. I mean, he was just the other day talking about, and not get too much off subject, he was talking about that white people are being prevented from getting the same treatment for COVID, and they're giving it to minorities or black people more, or they're going to give it to them first rather before they give it to them. And so they'll end up dying from COVID because they're trying to favor minorities over them. He was in I think Arizona or something like that, and he
Come
made a
on.
speech about this. And I'm like, it will work. His speech will work because he's hitting his demographic who think they're the new marginalized people. The same way he did 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It will work because he's going to run again. It's going to happen. And based on how things are going so far with this administration, I think he'll actually win. I wouldn't be surprised.
Listen, he may, but it's this is a sad place, a sad time in history, this country, to put somebody like that back in office. He didn't do well, in my opinion. People saying this and this and this, blah, 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 blah. But in my opinion, I get it that, I was like, he helped a lot of people in business. But there are so many other people who may not make the cap of money and can't have access to those type of benefits that he gave tax-wise to individuals. But the working class, the middle class family has become the working class poor. And again, that has to change because we're the ones who are taking the weight of the burden of taxes in this country. Mm-hmm. But they continue to spend recklessly. They got black budgets and all this other kind of stuff going on. And they just continue to take and take and take and take. Again, that has to be reeled back in and stopped. And I could go on for about a whole day in reference to things that I think should happen. But I mean, it is what it is.
Well, I that's what I think is going to be the main thing that wins the next election because, well, probably every election is all about money in the end. It's always going to be about money and who can bring you the better income, who's going to give you the better outcome. That's usually the main talking point, I think, that wins every election. Yeah, some people talk about certain laws being passed, maybe about healthcare and things about race or whatever. But I think money is usually the bottom line with people like, am I going to be able to pay for my food and my housing tomorrow? Am I going to be able to live right tomorrow? And despite all those things, despite Trump saying all those nasty things before he got elected on his first campaign, despite him having no background in the politics, people said this man is a success. He knows about money, so we're going to give this guy a chance, right? If he knows about money, I don't care what he says. And I think even black people, white people, Mexicans, whatever, it was like, yeah, he may be racist, but if racism can pay my bills, I'm all for it.
Yeah, he like, he may be racist. Well, they was like, well, we are too.
Right.
So
that's my kind of guy.
Right, that's my guy. Right, that's my guy right there.
I think that's what actually hurt him last year. Not last year. Yeah, last year.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm wrong. 2020. Stuck on it still being 2021 with the dates.
Yeah.
When COVID hit and then all those people lost their jobs because of COVID and stuff. I think if COVID had never hit and then the unemployment rate hadn't gone up, he probably would have won. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people blamed him and how he handled COVID, and then it spread, throughout the United States, and then people had to stop working and stuff. I think a lot of people blamed him for that. Well, and I mean, and rightfully so, how he at least started, with the COVID treatment, because he was like, "Oh, it's nothing; it'll go away. Don't worry about it."
It was a big joke and a big game to him.
Right.
And then after they had first notification of somebody who traveled in the country from the West Coast and went to a few places here, across the U.S., even when they knew about it, they didn't report or do anything about it until 3 months later.
Right.
Which was, come on, man, that's awful, you know. But again, you know, it's just one of those things where, you got people who are privileged; they don't take anything serious, or they portray not to take things serious. But sometimes I even think that they knew what they was doing from the gate.
Oh, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, they knew what they was doing from the gate, and you know, caused the crisis. And you know, we're all living through it, surviving through it right now.
Yeah, they all know what they're doing. He definitely knows what he's doing. He's a very slick individual, but
Slick.
Yeah, slick like a can of oil. But back to what we were saying with the lady with putting the son in the trunk part. I think she at least should have got some sort of endangerment
Absolutely.
charges. I don't see. I mean, because we talk about suffocated, injured from car wreck, just pressing on the brakes or whatever. That's not what the trunk is meant for. No one is meant to be in the back seat of a trunk.
Right.
You know.
And I bet you when he get older, Red, he gonna be looking back at that like, oh, my mama crazy. My mama's crazy.
That's probably not the first thing she's done compared to that.
I thought about that too.
I'm sure he's went through things much worse than being in the back of a trunk.
Mm-hmm.
So this is probably nothing to him. So he's probably gonna look at it on fond memories. Probably looking at him now like, what's the big deal? I wanted to be back there.
Yeah, not next to her.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Right.
Wow.
Perhaps if he had gotten hurt, we could have sent him to the spitting pastor. Did you ever hear about this guy? The pastor?
Oh my God. Oh, listen. I might not have been sitting here right now had he touched my hand on my face. Anything.
Come on, man. So bless the man.
Matter of fact, he wouldn't have had a chance to do it because I would have left.
Imagine the beginning of the morning. Brother Styles, I'm gonna need a favor on Sunday morning. I need someone to
what you need, brother?
Stand in front of me, and I'm going to give a sermon about blessing people and being able to go through the worst of the worst. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spit in your face. Say what now? Yeah, I'm gonna spit in your face. Now it's blessed spit because it's coming from my mouth that's been blessed by the Lord. So when I spit on you, I need you to not take it personal. We cool? No, we not cool.
No, we not cool.
You are going to die, so you're in the perfect place because they have funerals at churches too. We're gonna have a blessing and a funeral in the same
day.
Yes. Free of charge. For people who haven't seen the video, I'm gonna play the video. If you got a weak stomach, watch it anyway.
Pastor anoints with his spit.
You don't see it clearly yet, but you hear. And this is where most people would not face Jesus anymore. What most people would do is turn away. What I'm telling you is just as he's physically standing here, knowing what's coming, God's saying, can you physically and spiritually and emotionally be able to stand when getting the vision or receiving it might get nasty? I'm going to say it in a point just like that. Receiving vision from God might get nasty. You mean God, I just bought, in crazy faith, I just bought my dream car. And now you're going to ask me to sell it back and ride in the hoopty again? Yeah, because the vision I'm about to give you, it might get nasty. And do you hear and see the responses of the people? What I'm telling you is how you just reacted is how the people in your life will react when God is doing what it takes for the miracle. What are you saying? This man was blind, and what he was trying to do with this man is give him his DNA.
And what I'm going to do is give you my knuckles.
Matter of fact,
and you're going to give me your blood. You're going to be anointed with these fists across your face, because that ain't going to happen.
Multiple times.
I mean, it's one thing to have egg on your face, but to have someone else's, that don't even make it better to say have someone else's DNA on your face. That can mean anything.
That can be, look, I ain't gonna tell you what I was thinking.
Probably the same thing I was thinking, but and that wasn't just like a little spittle. That had some thick consistency to it. That was dripping when he put in his hand. That looked like it sounded like he had a cold when he spit into his hand,
or some type of nasal congestion.
Yeah,
a head cold.
I think he should have probably been put in the trunk.
Yeah,
by that lady in Texas. Hell, there was no 6 feet in between them. I didn't even think about that. There was no COVID protocols at all in that. No. That is like the worst kind of COVID protocols. They were definitely not 6 feet. And he spit on the man, basically spit in the hand. He rubbed it on the man's face. What if his man gets sick tomorrow and dies because of that?
He put, that was dumpster juice. That was COVID juice all on his face.
I would imagine there was something green on there. The way he spit up, that sounded green. I ain't even saying it looked green. It sounded green. Ugh. And so the man he apologized. I don't know, maybe a couple days after that incident.
Apologize for what?
He said he took it too far.
Oh, you knew you took it too far.
He didn't realize it at the time. But I don't know who I'm actually more mad at. I'm mad at him, or I'm mad at the guy that stood there and let him rub spit on him.
Both of them. Because, see, this is where that blind allegiance, loyalty, and trust sometimes plays a crazy role in people's lives. Like, I'm just gonna use this as an example. There was a couple I used to know who was married, and the husband divorced. What's up, Lexa? He divorced the chick, right? Because she was in the church. The pastor got in her head because she was giving so much money every week that she came or whatever like that. And she started giving, it wasn't 10%. It was like maybe 15% of her earnings was going in every month. She never talked to her husband about that, or what was what and this was that, and what they had planned and what they was doing as far as their financial future. And so he eventually, because they got into arguments about this so much, he eventually just left us like, look, you want to be with that church or you want to be with him, then you go ahead and do that. But this is what we talked about prior to you doing what you did without my knowledge. Like, you my other half. How are you going to take and move to that extent without even saying nothing to me and think it's okay?
Right.
That's almost like stealing or thieving, or you keeping secrets. So he was like, what else are you keeping? What else are you doing? What else are you keeping secret? If you could do this, what else are you doing?
She had a stronger allegiance to the pastor, I'm guessing.
Absolutely. Then to the betterment of the household
Mm-hmm.
and the direction they were heading as a married couple.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I say sometimes that people's allegiance to specific and certain things can turn detrimental to your household or whatever you're doing. And, again, sometimes you have to check yourself or somebody near you to check you to tell you that was wrong for that man to even do that, with spitting in his hand and putting that on somebody else's face. That's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
I mean, do you think he did that out of
A test?
Huh?
It was a test of allegiance, loyalty, and faith to him, not to God, because people use God as an excuse for a lot of things. They don't murder billions of people in the name of, but the man did it.
Mm-hmm.
He did the same thing in the name of God, but it's something that he wanted to do. That God complex. Yeah, Alexa just said that. It's that God complex. And I have my as friendships and things like that, my job or maybe whatever I'm doing, my business. I have a loyalty to that, right? But not to a detriment.
Right. You don't want to get killed because of it. You don't want to get sick because of it.
Exactly.
Or embarrassed because of it. And also, I the purpose of you, and this is always lost, the purpose for you to go to church is to become more knowledgeable about whatever religion or God you serve, and grow closer to your God, not to the pastor, not to man. And you're already lost if you're going close to somebody that's the same as you, whatever that man or whatever. You're getting lost already in the sauce, or the spirit, for that matter. And I don't think the pastor did this to harm the guy. I just don't think he thought his actions thoroughly all the way out. I don't think he was doing this to be mean to the guy or embarrass the guy or whatever. He was trying to prove a point. He just picked a poor way to prove his point. I mean, I think, the trust exercise, just falling back in someone's arms is good enough. You don't have to sit on somebody, to prove your point.
But he could have used something else. He could have used baby oil. He could have used man shea butter and put it on the man's face or something. But
mayonnaise, I don't know. I don't care. Use anything.
Anything.
But
it could have been olive oil.
Would have been fine.
Castor oil, something.
Yeah.
But his own. That's crazy, bro.
I mean, dude, you think
it could be my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody. Like, I've seen people sick and I'll clean up after them, right?
All right. You clean up. You don't put it on them.
Nah, right. I clean up, but you're just not gonna intentionally just put it on me like that. Mm-hmm. Remember Eddie Murphy back in the day? He was his comedian. He was saying, "I'm gonna put it on you." He put that boogie. He tried to put boogies on people. Yo, that's awful, bro. I'm just saying, that's awful. He could use anything else, for sure.
He might as well pee on him.
R. Kelly. I'm a pee on you.
Well, okay, while you say that, somebody else that some people have worshipped, I know these are kids, but I'm pretty sure they're grown adults that would have done this as well, but worshiping, people, celebrities or whatever like that, and letting them just do anything to you, such as spit or pee or white feces on you. I don't know what's next, but these are the type of things you do, and you worship people and don't value yourself. I feel sorry, and the preacher's gonna get past this. I mean, this is nothing. He'll get past this. But what about? I can't imagine you dating this guy. I'm like, and respected him. Like, aren't you the guy that let the other guy just spit on you, and you were okay with it? Well, yeah, but that we talked about that. That was a mistake. You say sorry. I can't respect you.
Mm-mm. Nah, ain't no respect. No way, no sir.
No, sir, not me.
Yo, he is a musical genius. I just wish he was better as a person. I got help. That's all.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, but I don't think he's gonna make a comeback anytime soon.
He gonna be recording behind bars.
If he changes his name to Robert Trump, he might be able to make a comeback in a few years.
And he gonna come out wearing brown MAGA hats.
All right. Let's see. Let's go. Let's see what we got next. Oh, okay. I think I saw you talk about this the other day. Speaking of Florida, because you were talking about Florida earlier, you named one of them as the crazy states that we got in this country. Florida is working on passing a bill that will help out people that do not like the teaching of critical race theory in their schools, and it makes them feel discomfort. It is basically what it is. It's a hate speech bill.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not going to say it as is, but that's basically what it is. They don't want it to be taught in the schools if it's making the kids there, and let's just face it, it's white kids. If it's talking about critical race theory, if it makes them feel guilty or makes them feel uncomfortable, they don't want it taught. So they're trying to pass a bill that will stop this or other things like this, critical race theory, from being taught, which is another way of saying Black history, but we'll call it critical race theory. They are going to try to pass a bill from this being taught. And then I was thinking about it, I was like, when have we ever legislated hate speech?
Right.
We've never done that. That's why it's called free speech.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say hate speech where it incites riots or anything, but you're pretty much free to say almost anything you want to. And so now they're trying to, and to even think of, to even bring this up, I'm like, well, what happened to the other forms of hate speech? Why was there not anything passed then?
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a thing about go back to Africa and N-words that's been said in marches or online in front of people's faces, in schools possibly too, or at work. There's never been a bill passed for that, and I can't believe that this is even up for a vote.
Right. But again, this is their sly and sneaky way of trying to slide something in there on an undercover basis. But if people take the time to read what's in that bill, just as you stated, and they've been taking it a little step further.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the history in this country has been portrayed, just as an example, we talk about Christopher Columbus, they try to portray him in many books like he discovered in America and he's this great person and blah, 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 blah. His man and his crew were murderers, killers, and thieves, period. Mass genocide across America, but they changed the verbiage and language behind it and put it out there in these books. That's cool. Black Panthers, who were just protecting their neighborhoods, doing good things in the community, protecting themselves. They had their rights, the civil rights, and everything else that we had going on. That was the worst thing possible. They're so terrible. They doing this, they doing that, and they're a threat to paper-skinned America. I'm just saying, like, that ended out being bad. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that made examples. All of our leadership who try to do something positive for the people or put them in a certain direction or mindset, they eliminated them. So it just goes back to the whole point of them not wanting to give any leverage or any, they want to control the narrative in the story and not give up any of that. Because I look at the younger race or even the younger ages, even when I came up and when my kids are coming up now, there's a lot of them who don't deal in that whole racism aspect of the whole game. They don't like it. They don't want to touch it. They don't want to, but if anything, they want to go against it. So, but to enforce their control over them as well is like, look, you may not do this now, but as something happens, something moves forward, and we get this done. They're like the old school one, the boys club one, not the nation for what we want. If that makes sense.
Right. So
yeah, that's awful, bro. The real story should come out. They should feel uncomfortable. They should feel terrible because everybody else has paid blood, sweat, and tears, and they have built their financial wealth in different things. Whereas, we still trying. Everything we built, they kept snatching, taking away. So.
Well, I mean, and the language is not put in as, I know it's not put in as white people. But I mean, we know what they're speaking on, and we know why. It's because of critical race theory, basically talking about. But if that's the case, if this makes them feel guilty, then why not Black History Month? I mean, is that going to make them feel guilty? And I'm sure it's damn near the same thing. So would that be taken away? Would people start saying, well, I don't have to go to this classroom because this school is teaching Black History Month? Would that be able to be taken out of that classroom, or would that teacher be in trouble for teaching that? Right now it's not, but in the future, as new laws are passed and lawyers find different ways to, make different lawsuits or whatever, could that strike at Black history being taught at these schools? Just not critical race theory, just Black history, period.
And so it'll be one county to the next, one school to the next, one city to the next, one state to the next.
Maybe even Juneteenth. I mean, I'm sure that probably makes people feel uncomfortable too.
But
maybe even Martin Luther King holiday. Maybe that makes people feel uncomfortable.
Look, I've seen people at my job was like, "Oh, I ain't taking off Monday, but we'll do on Robert E. Lee Day." In Virginia, they have a Robert E. Lee Day.
No, that's cap. Because you can say all day, "Oh, I'm not celebrating Martin Luther King Day," but you're still taking that Martin Luther King money, that holiday pay, though. I bet you ain't say, "I'm not gonna take this dirty Black money." I bet you're still gonna take it.
Absolutely.
Find me one, and I will respect him as a racist if he does. I'm not taking this money. I'm giving it back to my employer. I'm not taking it because it's happening on Martin Luther King holiday. I don't want it. Bet you'll find slim to none that do that.
And then again, too, I still feel like when they made the day, I get it. But look how long it took them to do it.
All right.
It took them a long time to sign and put that into existence. It was like, if I remember correctly, and if I'm wrong, correct me, anybody in the chat box, they put certain things forward, like it was maybe 2 or 3 years prior, and then they implemented like that amount of time later.
What's that?
It didn't happen immediately. Martin Luther King Day just didn't happen immediately. Yeah. Like, oh, we signed it in, it's going in like the next month or the next year. That's still, and they fought that. So it still took some time for it to even come into being. So, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, most state, well, all states didn't recognize it for a while. I think Arizona was
Right.
the last state to recognize it as a holiday or federal holiday, anyway.
I don't even know why any black person want to live in Arizona.
Yeah.
I mean, from the jail judicial system to a lot of other things, man. It's it ain't the most friendly place for us, folks.
Yeah, I could say all that about the South out here. Period, though.
Yeah, I can name some places.
Right. I mean, I could name it further down south, Mississippi. We can talk about them. We could talk about a lot of places. So I mean, is any place besides Atlanta? You know, they say that's a mecca out there. Besides
But outside of that, outside of pockets,
yeah,
outside of pockets, it's crazy. But yeah, bro, that you know, all this stuff needs to be taught and put out there so everybody knows about all the crimes and land stolen, wealth, businesses, things that have been taken over a period of time. But they always want to say strap up by the bootstraps and do this and do this and do that. But every time we turn around, they taking, stealing, denying. How you supposed to keep on?
well, I mean, you can have your bootstraps and strap them up, but if you're walking in quicksand, it makes it kind of hard to keep walking.
It's going to help you to fall down quicker.
Yeah, yeah,
For sure.
Now, I have heard. I don't know how true that in some places that were teaching critical race theory, and they're talking about the guilt side of it, that they were saying that some of these white kids, white people, period, they were saying they were being taught that they were innately racist, not just, you know, they were just teaching critical race theory, that they were born racist like that. Now, this is, I don't know, because I haven't seen it being taught. I haven't seen how the curriculum is set forth for the kids. But
Right.
this is some of the parents' complaints, is that they was being taught and they was telling these white kids, you are born racist. You can't help it. This is just who you are. And saying like, oh, you were born here. Now, people could be just going too far and just kind of, you know, trying to demonize teaching Black history. I don't know. I love to see it just being taught, or love to see a book about it and see how it's being taught. But this is a lot of well, it's been some of their complaints about it.
So it's just the rhetoric.
Huh?
I said it's just their wording and rhetoric. They're not even a perception. It's deception about the truth, why we want it to be printed in that. And, you know, I just always believe too, if you're going to teach the truth, teach the whole truth, not just clean up your racist supremacy type stuff. Bring it all. If your child is going to choose to be who and what they are, let them do it. But don't brainwash them or teach them something knowing that's not the right thing to do. You know, you got Christians out there who, you know, believe there should be slavery, there should be this. And how can you be a Christian and follow Christ's teachings, but don't exhibit them or have the same principles as him? You're doing something totally different and totally opposite of the teachings that he's trying to share with you. So I don't get that as well. They're out here doing the most right now, you know.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this then. Okay, on the other side of that, because I've seen Black parents actually complain about this too, about critical race theory, where it seems like they feel like their kids are being taught that they just don't have a chance because the game is rigged against them. And I kind of don't agree with that either,
I don't
because
either.
although there are hurdles, and,
Mm-hmm.
and I will say this about some people who do complain about racism, it exists. We get that. The place we're in now, yes, there are hurdles, but to almost convince, because there are some people that complain about, like, I can't do this because of racism, I can't do this because of this.
Mm-hmm.
I think it almost gives a person an excuse to not even try.
Not even try, bro.
Yeah. And I think some people, I think a lot of people need to be taught that that yes, there are hurdles in the way, but hurdles are made to be jumped over. It's
Absolutely.
harder,
Kicked
yes.
over. Move it
Yeah,
out the way.
yeah.
Let's go.
You're going to have to try just that much harder. That doesn't mean you can't do it. I
Right.
do think, unfortunately, we, not you and me, but generalizing, some of our people do make excuses where they can't do anything. If they do fail at something and they just give up, they just stop trying
Right.
because somebody tells them, well, racism is the reason why you're not doing this. It will present a hurdle for you, but you should never say you can't do it. Today's world, anyway. We talking years ago before certain bills and laws were passed to help you, and you were stopped doing, like, you couldn't vote, then that's one thing, and you can't do anything about that besides work on trying to get the right to vote. But in today's world, yes, there are hurdles, and I saw a lot of Black parents, not a lot, but a few Black parents complain about that. They said they felt like their kids felt like they weren't worth anything, because if the world's just set like this, then, and if you fail,
Tell them the
you got
truth.
something to blame. That's why you failed, and I don't agree with that part.
Mm-mm.
You have a reason why you probably, it made it harder for you to get to whatever point you're trying to get, maybe your career or whatever. But you should never think that's just the end game and just stop. Well, I'm just not going to try
Right.
because racism's here.
And it's crazy. It's just like, how many times in the past, whether we was first being taught how to catch a football or throw a baseball, or we played video games, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we might not have beat the boss. We maybe kept losing, but guess what? I'm like them kids in the video games, bro. Like, I'm gonna keep trying. I'm gonna keep trying and keep trying. I'm gonna learn from my mistakes, what I did before. I'm gonna beat the boss.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get that champion. I'm gonna win that football chip. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna win the championship. I'm gonna get there. So, I know we was talking before offline just about mentoring sometimes and giving them something that they can connect to put into a real life situation. That's one of them. If you have that much drive that you can play this game 4, 5, 8 hours a night, 16 hours a day on the weekend to get to a goal or a place, you can put that same energy and time into doing this in real life towards your purpose or your goal, your business, or whatever that may be. Stop playing.
Right.
So when they have something that they can take that's tangible, that's real for them, that they can see, and give them that and talk to them about that, they can apply that to real life too.
Mm-hmm. How do you teach that though? How do you, if it is being taught, and I don't think it has to be taught. I go back, and we'll talk about this probably in the next segment, about images that are portrayed out there in the media, where it feels like you don't have a standing chance, or you see where you came from, and it's not hard for a kid to believe they ain't worth much compared to the white counterparts, if that's all they see. And then they're like, well, if that's who I really am, then why try? How do you teach that? How do you change people's mindset?
Yeah, you had to. So I was one of those guys who, one of my younger cousins, he passed away a few years ago. Young guy. When I was growing up, well, we was growing up together. I was maybe 4 years older than him, but he ever since he was like maybe 5 years old, he wanted to be white. When the MTV era came out, but to where his parents moved him out to the areas for better schooling and better whatever that is,
private school,
and he couldn't. He just saw how he was being treated, and other students was being treated going to that school by a predominantly white school, and it kind of broke him as a young man. But as I kept dealing with him and kept moving forward, made him come to the realization that you will never be anything other than this.
right?
If you don't make your situation better, who is? Nobody's gonna make your situation better. Nobody's gonna make you feel better about yourself. I can always provide words of encouragement, but until you embody who you are as a young man and know your worth, know what you're striving for, nothing else is going to matter moving forward.
Right.
Because trying to assimilate into being somebody else, you will never be them.
No.
Irregardless, no matter what your achievements are, your status in society, how much money you got behind your back, you still going to be you.
Right.
And it ain't them. And I remember when Public Enemy first came out. That was the first rap group I introduced him to. And look, it's been a plane ever since, until he passed away.
That's crazy, man. I mean, that was a good way to introduce him to something else besides negative images that are put out there. Public Enemy is definitely a good group for that. But yeah, that was what I was saying, earlier about what is being taught out there. Black history, although it needs to be taught, only one facet is usually taught. And it's usually the demeaning form of it.
Right.
The uplifting form for us. So, and then the movies, the slave movies and stuff like that, and that's played, and that doesn't, I can't imagine how that helps anyone's psyche, helping them feel like they're on the same level as everybody.
Now, and to be honest, Big Red, outside of what I've experienced personally in different places that I've grown up as a child, although I was raised to be a compassionate, a loving, a respectful person, there was a time in my life where I stopped turning the cheek. If you want to address me as a young man, you want to address me as a young man. If not, then whatever our differences are, we're going to handle this right here today. I ain't got time for all that. You know what I mean? Right. And when I saw my folk fighting and doing some of the things that they were doing growing up, it instilled a fire in me, which is still here to this day. But you also have to adapt to different times and different eras and learn how to either present the message, get the message to come out. I don't hate these folk. I don't do none of that. But you just not going to treat me or talk to me in any kind of way. That's not going to happen. And sometimes, like I said, I had to use certain things to give me the fire to trick myself into doing better. Because any type of job that I've been into, corporate, legal, mom and pops, whatever that is, if it's dealing with somebody else hire you from a different race, or you working for somebody else's company that's primarily Caucasian or whatever that is, I had to work 3 to 4 times harder. But the places that I was recognized immediately, my counterparts didn't respect or like that. I might have came in with a degree. They might have been working there 30 years. They might have been, their people might have just graduated or whatever. I don't know what they did not see in them that they saw in me. But they took my hand and was like, look, I want you to do X, Y, and Z and this. But I also know too, there had to be some clapback at some point in time. Because you saw that glass ceiling.
Yeah.
That glass ceiling, all of a sudden it was like it closed shut. Like, okay, you are not gonna get past here, but we love everything you're doing, but you're not gonna get past here.
All right.
So I was just like, wow, okay, so I'm gonna have to get out of this space and go to somewhere else. I just like keep climbing the stairs as I'm moving along in life and go. You know, again, this has just been everybody's story is not like that.
Right.
But I've had the opportunity to work with people who are empathetic and sincere. But I do know and have those who try to put you in a cage too.
Right. Right.
In a legal cage and dare you to do something. We waiting on you. So we can get you up out of here. And then we're gonna bring the next puppet or bring the next person in here, and we're gonna
do the same.
You do the same thing,
right?
But again, it's good because when I recognized and learned it, I'm like, okay, I see what y'all doing. I just learned another lesson. But if you're not willing to learn the lesson and move, you know, and propel yourself forward, like the people climbing on the side of the mountains, what you call it?
Mountain climbers.
Mountain climbers.
Yeah.
I had to do that. Sometimes look back and see like, oh my God, I'm gonna fall. But kept climbing because I was like, I'm not trying to go back there. And you know, this has been my fight and my story to this day. So again, you know, yeah, bro, man, this is
what made you not stop though.
What made me not stop is because of I just still imagine, like, I look at Emmett Till. I see all the people in the past who've been naturally good people striving. They have businesses. Tulsa, Oklahoma, New York City, Central Park was something else named back in the day. Can't think of 100% what it is now. There's so many places that they done killed, pillaged, and flooded just to make their homestay. And I just look at all this stuff, man. I was like, I got to keep moving forward. Like I can't stop now, you know. Especially when I had when I had my 2 daughters and I had my son. Yeah, I was in a world of hurt for a long time. But I had to keep moving and keep going.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Let's go ahead and go into the final topic for today. And
oh my God.
We've already kind of been touching on just a little bit. Who is more responsible for our negative images in the media? And when I mean our, I'm talking about Black people once again. Who's responsible for our negative images today in the media? Who do you think is responsible or most responsible for that?
Brother Red, it's been going on for a long time, but when you get in the age of media and social media, it's a legal, perpetual way to keep firing these negative images and the traumas and different things that we experience on an everyday, daily basis. You know, the primary to me, in my opinion, is the, you know, it's every company, every organization, every religious group, all the gatekeepers, our government, all our public political leadership, local, on a larger scales, anybody who's teaching, anybody who's grooming youth and people, brainwashing them to accept and condone a type of thinking and behavior, the judicial system, and like I said, you know, we have a lot of entities and things that are keep perpetuating this image. It don't matter. You know, you have Warner, you got Disney, Bertelsmann, Viacom, Comcast, CNN, NBC, AT&T, Sony, Comcast. You got all these entities out here who are portraying this image of us out here, even to different countries that they have a foothold in, to these people. Some of it, yes, is our fault, Red, Big Red viewers. Yeah, some of it is our fault, but we are a small percentage of this United States. We are a small percentage of people overall in Europe, right? How can this such small percentage of people be the forefront when I know that it's similar, same things that are going on? That there's bad people in every culture, every race, period. But we're the ones being demonized and blamed and put out there like that, like we're the worst. We dangerous. We are lazy. We are incompetent. We're inferior. But if you look on every scale, if it wasn't for us thinking about putting an effort into something without somebody stealing or taking something from us, it gets to be a daunting task for us to move past. And again, I just feel, Red, like I get we do some things, but you can't put it up. Some of the things that we actually do good, we have allowed to be manipulated and turned against us. Like, we are very good rhythmically. We got music, we dance, we our meditation, we pray, we do a lot of different things that are great. I mean, we have great leadership. We have some not so great, and vice versa, but anything can be learned and taught. But the point is, anything that we do, don't matter what we do, it's still being portrayed in a negative light and negative image. And again, it's dangerous because people are always going to be able to, because of the media and how they flash and they put stuff out there, until you get to know me, get to know you, get to know each one of us as an individual, and not lumped in this one big clusterfuck of stuff. It's not fair, but such as life. Life is not fair.
Right.
And again, it's, you know, it exposes a lot of being under this type pressure and how people view us. Sometimes you just want to be yourself. You can't even be yourself. You can't even relax on a normal basis because people use your vulnerabilities, your imperfections, your good character, your achievements. All that gets diminished. It all gets diminished. So I kind of try to take the picture as a whole and put it around the whole compass. you know, as, as best as I can. But it's dangerous because if we're looked at we're human beings like everybody else. But if we're looked at as being subhuman, if we are looked at as being ugly, not smart, not trustworthy, we're thieves, we're killers, and all that type of stuff. But these people have been doing this and doing it well, and brainwashing for how long? But they can't take any accountability for what they've done? Come on. Come on. Like we are not the bad root of today's society, period. That's not what it is. But we get so much blamed and put on us. Let's look at music. We look at videos, music videos. I remember growing up too, seeing anime, cartoons, posters, pictures, newspaper clippings. And you go anywhere online now, from YouTube to TikTok, to whatever. People doing the most out here. And a lot of it is, again, people, it's positive, but there's a lot of stuff negative, but they're still using the stuff that we brought into, like dancing. People twerking or dancing, they call it the coochie pop and all that stuff like that, or the grinding. That stuff has been around for ages. It wasn't sexual. It's more spiritual. It's a dance. It's energetic. It's so much to that they switched and changed on us to say that, oh, now they selling tail and she just doing that because of this, not the third. It's been, what you call it? It's been tainted. A lot of stuff that we have as a culture has been tainted, and now our own people even believe it. Religion even we tainted. Right. We've been tricked into believing doing certain things. So now, not even having our own people looking at our own people. Yes, to correct and fix errors. Yes, but I'm not judging and chastising nobody for anything except for we got to get better at doing this. We got to rise. We got to do better as a culture. But everybody in the whole planet is pushing us into one space. How we gonna get out? How we gonna get out? So, Ray, what's your response to that? Because I used to hate when people say, "Oh, yeah, drug users are lazy. They're this or that," and thieves and monkeys and all that type. Come on, man, that's crazy.
I'm trying to understand who did you mainly put the blame on for that, for the negative images?
Again, I just said, like, I gave some factions who are putting this out there, so I do blame them because they don't have to do that. You feel me? This is a choice. This is a precise, directed choice to do what they're doing. They don't have to do that.
All right.
So yes, they get parts of the blame. And again, I always said I also blame myself too for allowing it to happen. Also for trying to fit in. But every time we try to create and do on our own, they took that away. So you had no choice. If you wanted to live, you had to integrate. But even in that integration, it's just a whole system. It's a systematic system around us that's keeping us down. But as individuals, we can still rise and teach and build and have that expand to, to come out of this situation. But I would just say too, it's them and it's us as well.
Okay. Fair enough. I will say today's world, in today's media, we are to blame. I will say 100 years ago, where they were doing um, images of mammies and stuff like that on TV and showing black people as lazy and such and such, and doing minstrel shows and having
Yeah.
even black people do minstrel shows, not just like people doing blackface or whatever. We weren't somewhat in we weren't in charge of that.
Right.
Now in today's world, where people get their news not just from credible or not credible sources such as CNN and Fox, people getting their news sources from um, Facebook, from YouTube, where anyone can create content, and now we have people doing independent movies on their own and such, and we're doing our own independent movies more so than ever.
Yeah.
And I'll go back a little further, where in the 70s, where black exploitation movies were being made,
Mm-hmm.
and you were in charge of that. Most of those movies were, The Mac, Shaft, stuff like that, The Hammer. Most of those showed black guys, sleeping with a bunch of women. They were hoes and they were masculine, fighting the man and stuff like that. I think that was the start of when we were in charge of our image. Today, we're more in charge of it than ever before. What is a supplier without his consumer? Neither can live without the other, especially the supplier.
Facts.
As you've seen, I think it's starting to diminish with the outpouring of slave movies. You don't see them as much as you used to. You used to see like 2 or 3 a year, it seems like. And I think that is because black people are starting to complain, like, okay, we're tired of seeing this.
Yeah, like,
and it's last one I can remember, I think it was one with Matthew McConaughey. So that was somewhat of a slave movie, I guess, but that's a lot. And I started hearing some pushback on that, and you don't really see them that much. I remember they did a Roots reboot. I was not. I didn't care about that. I'm like, why do I need to see a reboot of the same damn thing?
Yeah, I didn't watch it either.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, retelling the same story, and it's not an empowering story.
Mm-hmm.
But the roles that we take, they can't offer the roles that we don't take. This is why I say, what is a supplier without the consumer?
Mm-hmm.
If we don't consume those roles, then they will not supply it to us. Go ahead.
And Red, is terrible because this is where I say too, we have to watch where we live and what we do and how we do it, because I know some ball players who have been duped into going out to quote unquote California high end places, right?
Mhm.
Who doesn't want to live high end or have something great or feel good about this? So they use material.
Mhm.
So by getting them to come out there, now you're going to be placed and put into a position where from a ball player, actress, or whoever that is, that was like, oh, if you're going to go here, you're going to go to New York, you're going to go to Hollywood to get that actress role or actor's role, or vice versa, or you're going to play ball where they're going to pay you.
Mhm.
But now they got you out there. Now the amount of financial burden is different.
Mhm.
People are going to accept certain roles, certain things. They're going to be subject to certain things because now that I'm out here, I'm already contracted in this piece. Without work, you can't pay your bills.
Mhm.
That's a trap. It looks great. It seems good, but it's also a trap. So sometimes I would say when you take the blame and the ownership of certain things, despite what our personal goals and our dreams are, we have to be able to set that bar and be like, okay, yeah, I can fly out there to do X, Y, and Z and stay out there for a little while, but to live out there, I can't do, because it's not, and the end means it's not best for us, because now you're going to take roles. Now we're going to take money from executives and artists, just taking whatever, because they're trying to get out of what they're in such of a bad state that they're going to keep moving. I don't care what you tell us to do. We're going to do it. What?
Yeah.
And that's what I see a lot of that happening now.
And where do you think that comes from? Not valuing yourself. You know, man, we were talking about that last week. You'll do things hell, just the first story with a guy getting spit on. You'll do things that are outside of your character if you do not value yourself. If you put your value into someone else, like that guy who let him put his spit on his face, or a movie, an actor, or a ball player, or a politician, you'll do anything. Like, groupies ain't just for rock stars.
Right.
That groupie moves ain't just for people who worship rock stars. They could be for anybody. They could be for the preacher, the ball player, the owner of the janitorial services downtown, whatever. They could be for anybody. Probably not. I'm sure there's somebody that worships the janitor somewhere in this world, but shout out to janitors to keep things clean. But it's if you value yourself. If you don't value yourself, you'll end up doing anything. And even going back to the thing about critical race theory, about, you know, teaching this, but you don't teach the value that the Black kid has in himself, then you'll end up falling for anything. You'll end up doing anything. And I think that goes with these roles, these music roles, these acting roles, where, and the thing is, I don't have a problem with, this is why it's not a big deal when white people have movies like Scarface, even though, you know, Al Pacino wasn't playing a white guy, but he was a white guy. But Godfather, Casino, Goodfellas. The reason why that's not an issue, because they have a healthy balance of everything else. They have a healthy balance of good roles and bad roles. And you can just say, well, that's not everybody. You can't really do that with us. Like you said, we're only 13% of the population. We're already fighting a bad image brought, I would say, years, decades ago, whatever. Negative images that have been put out there. We're trying to erase that. But if we accept those bad images ourselves and portray them in the media, that's all they're going to push. And if we consume it, you brought up Public Enemy.
Right.
How many Public Enemies did we have compared to NWA when they came out?
Bruh.
That were famous.
We might have had Public Enemy. I mean, we have Public Enemy. We had Brand Nubians, who was half conscious, half street, whatever that was.
Yeah.
We had a couple groups out there. We even had Queen Latifah, Unity, Moni.
Early 90s, late 80s.
So it's like Arrested Development. Oh my God, I can't. This other group, Sissies. Remember that? Remember the group that the dude? Well, at the end of the song, somewhere in the song, he'd be like, "You sissies."
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to think of the name of the group myself. I'll remember at the end of the show.
So yeah, that was one of my. You know, it was just a handful.
Even with that, though, none of them. Well, Arrested Development, I'll give you that. They had a bit of a run. I'm saying, as far as Public Enemy, was
not the public. Yeah, Public Enemy was probably. And I even look at Juru the Damager. He spit Poor Righteous Teachers.
Yep.
was, you know, somewhere on a nice platform, and then from there, it seemed like NWAs, all those groups that started to multiply, and Tennessee, Tennessee, yeah,
they had one album.
Yeah.
One good thing. They had several hits, but they had one album. But
Yeah.
none of them. I mean, okay, you got Public Enemy,
Mhm.
then you got Snoop, Big, Pac, Wu-Tang, and I love all them. But I'm saying, look at the difference between this side and how many were this popular on this side that were positive. It's not a healthy mix.
Right. And even
and it's gotten worse.
And you remember when MC Hammer
Yeah.
was just doing entertainment and rap,
Yeah.
and somebody convinced these other negative entities, rap groups, to take shots at him, and his whole career fell through because of, and I thought that was awful.
Remember when he went to Death Row?
Yeah, and he was pumps in a bump and all that other stuff. Like, I was like, what the hell is he doing?
Right.
So, because he wasn't that when he came in, and again, he was respected from youth to older people just doing his entertainment.
Right.
But when he got, you know, I was like, oh my God. When he started doing the gangster, I said, uh-oh. I said, he done trying to fit in to the norm to continue to make that money. And it took his career, because people was like, that's not him. We don't want that. We don't want that music, Hammer. We want positive. So, you know, again, it is what it is. It's the industry. It's a lot of things set up that are baiting our people. And yes, we want to have a platform and get out. But like, I respect one of my favorite groups to this day, who have went through these battles from day one. De La Soul.
Okay.
You see what De La Soul?
Yep.
De La Soul went through what they went through, that transition. And once they got in and off the label, who they transpired and turned, what they spoke about, the truths, their lives, and everything else. Yo, those some bad brothers, bro. I mean, if you had to go back and listen to what they saying, one of their albums, Mission Impossible Mission, they done told it all. They put it out there.
They got pushed out.
Yeah, they got pushed out, but they doing their thing independent. People respected them enough to where they had their own crowd fund to, you know, for lawyers and doing different things that they had to try to obtain and get their music, their rights back. Because they never had ownership of anything that they had. And when it came to the digital realm, when they started, you know, having streams and different stuff like that, people downloading songs, these fellas, I don't even know how they made it, bro, because they wasn't being paid. They were being robbed. They were taking. So, you know, again, I understand why people take the big lump sum up front. But they got to know what their contract is, because you'll be going back into slavery once again, because you owe people somebody 5 albums. They only give you this much. You got to, yeah. Well, I can't even look. The music industry is too big.
Before you even got there, I would say you're in slavery when you took the money to portray what you're portraying.
And I still feel too, Red. Check this out, though. Right, the flip side of it. Had you had, you know, like Dave Banner, some other individuals who have actually taken what they earned to put back in the community and create a positive aspect. You got Ocean, you got oh my God, she's one of the most beautiful women rappers, conscious rappers that I know. And why can't I think of her name? She is dope. This is a shame. I should smack myself in the face on your show, Red.
Give me a song. I might can.
She has locks.
Lauryn Hill?
Not Lauren. Okay, yeah, Lauryn Hill's good, but no, she is out
She's a
now.
singer? She's a singer?
No, she is a dope lyricist, bro.
Oh, she a rapper.
Conscious rapper.
She from Carolina?
Huh?
From Carolina? Where's she from?
I can't tell you that right now. Like my mind is racing so bad right now because I want to tell you who she is. Ciroc, bro.
Okay.
You know who that is?
Yeah, I know who it is. I'm not a huge fan, but I know who you're talking about.
Okay. But I'm just saying, like, she's creative. You know, I'm just saying, like, they never accepted rappers or people like her after that age.
Mm-hmm.
Why? We already know. It's just to keep that image. It's about image. It's about everybody wanting to be. Remember, talk about Scarface and other things. When I was growing up, so many people who got off the track was aspiring to be a Scarface or a back in the day gangster, all them type of people, you know, in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s, and that wasn't for us.
Right. Let me say this right here. We were talking about hurdles, right?
Yes.
You may have to work 4 times harder to get to the same place a white person may have to get, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other side of the track, you know, I know you can feel it. If you were to do something bad or get accused of something bad at your job, it don't just come down on you. It comes down on your whole race, right? You know that, right? And
Absolutely.
If you do something bad, if someone gets shot in the street, they're not going to say, well, Brian got shot in the street. But Brian's a black guy. Brian got shot in the street. They're going to say, they always get shot. They're going to encompass everybody. So you're representing everybody when you do something. This is, unfortunately, something that, hold on, my camera back up. This is unfortunately something we have to go through our entire lives. If we do something bad, it affects everybody. We do something good, you're a credit to your race, right? This also has to go with the same rule with accepting roles. When you accept certain roles that betrays us of a negative image or whatever, you have to have the ratio. When I would tell you about the ratio of positive rappers versus
balance,
negative rappers, but they're on the other side of the spectrum, right? You have to have that many more positive rappers to overcome this many negative rappers, if you want to call it that. Or rappers who talk about violence or whatever. Well, the other side of the spectrum. Like I said, there's many variations of black people. We're not monolithic.
Right.
But unfortunately, you have to have that many over there to overcome the stereotypes that the one on this side portrays. And I think until we put that much out there, because I don't even think it can be equal is what I'm basically saying. I don't even think it could be 5 rappers like this and 5 rappers like this, and then you'll change.
It's not going to be, because the rappers who are talking good, getting something conscious or whatever you want to call them, they're not the ones. They're getting paid independently. They're not on the charts. They're not in these spaces. They're not going to be recognized as seen. So no matter what they're doing on the outside of their peer groups or people paying attention to them, they're not going to get the attention of media, which we talked about before. They're not going to get that attention that they deserve to have. But it's always been this. It's always been, we're not looked at as being positive or great unless it's to their benefit. But when we're no longer a benefit to them, to their goal, to whatever that is, then, and even before then, we weren't looked at lightly in their eyes. It's just that now that we're making money for them, now that, we can put them on a pedestal a little bit, but one day they're going to do something's going to happen, and we're going to snatch that pedestal from underneath them, and they're going to fall. You look at how many labels and how many entities, when you deal with individuals, it's like, when, let's say, individual rapper, when he was growing up, he was molested and this and that and the third, and he's on drugs, he's doing this. Although he's making money for the label and what little bit he's getting, did y'all try to help him out his trauma? Did you try to get him help? Did you have a counselor or somebody? Did you have somebody to point him in the right direction? How to do your money, how to focus your money, how to do certain things. That stuff doesn't necessarily always come with a label. It doesn't come with, we have your best interests in mind, but I'm glad you have our best interests in mind. We're going to give you this little bit compared to what we're going to have, what we're going to be making, but it's not being recycled. It's not being, you know what I'm saying? So that's an issue and problem in the whole situation. So I would say that artists need to understand and know their power, their influence as well. And that just goes for all of us. Feel me?
The value. We got the value. See, no one. Okay, let's go. What's a popular clothing line, urban clothing line? Let's just take it back to
FUBU.
Okay, I was gonna go with FUBU. We'll go with FUBU.
All right.
Nobody when FUBU, started coming off the racks. Mainly, people would say when LL Cool J made that commercial, then people were like, "Okay, FUBU's cool, whatever." He influenced them. He's wearing it, so people start wearing it after that. We're the influencers now. To be realistic, whatever. Music, we're the creator. Let's just say hip hop. We're the creator. We're also the consumer.
Mm-hmm.
We're not the majority of the consumer, though. All right, white people are the majority of the consumer. That's just facts because they're just that many people, white people in the country, whatever. So, but they don't follow hip hop music unless they see that's what we're consuming, majority wise, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna follow what we view as the trends, even though they're probably gonna catch on something that we've been following for a couple years or more than that, and then they finally gonna start, using the vernacular, wearing the clothes that we're wearing, or whatever. But that's neither here or there. They're the major consumer of it. If they don't see that we think it's cool, whatever we're wearing, whatever music we're doing, they're not going to consume it.
Facts.
So we have the value. We
and the
we
power.
got the value. We just don't understand we have the value. They don't offer these roles. They don't offer the lump sum of money for those type of rappers if we don't, buy into it.
Right.
We say we're just like the slave example I was given. They don't continue making these movies if we complain about we don't want to do them. We have to accept
just
the role.
Don't go see it.
Right. Or just don't accept the role.
Right.
I'm like, oh, okay, another slave movie. We're not doing that. We want something better than that. If we don't accept it, then they can't make it.
But you know that
do blackface, and I hope that still wouldn't work today, but maybe in Florida it might work. I don't know.
But Red, I'm just saying that sometimes the roles and things that we choose, as you stated, what we decide, what we're talented at, sometimes gets us in binds. Because no other place or platform will get us paid like we should with our creativity and our talent, like entertainment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to wait. And this is the switch that came. Nobody wants to wait. If I got a talent of catching damn footballs and I'm fast, there's always somebody out there to put you on a fast track and how to get that and do that, right?
Right.
There's not enough people out there putting us on a fast track of how to become a chemist, how to become a holistic doctor, how to become certain things. It takes too long before you get the money, right?
True.
So the entertainment game, and I would tell you, for 15 years, I was a victim of being in college, wanting to have a car to get around in, wanting to have clothes, wanting to be able to pay my bills, have my own place, and do all these things. How realistic is that, bro?
Not very.
Not very. But even in my own manifestation of wanting to do these things, guess who I met in my manifestation because I wanted these things?
Who's that?
I met a group of guys while I was in college who I used to fight in high school because they were drug dealers. I hated drug dealers. I hated everything they done ever represented, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was at a, oh my God. There was I'm trying to remember the name of this place. They're no longer open here or up north. Geno's. You ever heard of that before?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Okay. So it was at a Geno's.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting something to eat, but I was putting in my application there too to work part-time. I had a full-time job during the day, during the summer, and I was applying for a part-time for Geno's to help pay for my school. So the dudes came in there, and it's crazy because I remember their voices. Like,
Yeah.
and this was years ago. So I'm turning around, and as soon as I finished ordering, the girl who was taking my order was like, "You okay?" I said, "Huh?" She said, "You okay?" I said, "No, I'm fine." And the way my face was looking towards her, she was like, "Yo, something wrong with this nigga. Something wrong with this bro." So I turned around, and just hearing their voices triggered me. I knew who it was before they was even got up close enough. I knew who they was before I even turned around. And so when I turned around, they got up closer to me. I just walked over to usually the ringleader. So I walked over to him, and he was like, "Yo, what's going on, bro?" Blah 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 blah. And he was like, "Yo," look, bro, don't do that. I don't know, whatever happened in the past. I'm good. Like, we ain't, whatever. I ain't got no problem with you. And he was like, "What you doing?" I was like, just came home from school, working during the summer. Da, 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 da. And he was like, "I got something for you though." He was like, "Meet me tonight. We're gonna go to this party, blah, 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 blah." And he was like, "I will talk to you about some opportunities." After that aspect, being out there, seeing how much money I could make in a day compared to going to school or going up in these offices, that was a wrap for me. So I kind of manifested without even knowing what I was manifesting.
Mm-hmm.
I manifested a bad situation for myself when I should have just kept the course and kept the path. And this is the same thing that happened with a lot of people. Like, I was an A&R representative. I have my own company where people just don't want to take the time to build their brand, put the step out there. They want the fastest access for me not being broke or me being viewed broke or not being viewed in a certain light or perspective. And so even with the light that these people are putting on us in the image section, once people got the money, they're going to be who they're going to be. They don't give a damn about how you view me anymore. I got paper now. So whatever else y'all talking, I'm going to be me. Before I got the money, I was ignorant, or I was this and that and the third. I ain't know no better. And that's how people do. Not everybody, but most.
Interesting. You say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. You bring up fast money, fast image, trying to get somewhere quick to make it, look like you actually have achieved something, like you
Right.
conquered life, right? when you think about most businessmen are not really successful until their mid 40s, right? We're talking about, like the likes of Bill Gates.
Mm-hmm.
He might have been a little bit more successful earlier age, but the guy that did the iPhone guy, what's his name? What's the guy that made the iPhone? Well, it was famous for the iPhone.
Hold on.
I'm an Android guy, so
I'm gonna bring this up right now.
somebody give me that. I know somebody in the chat knows the guy.
Yeah. But
Steve Jobs. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, Steve Jobs. These people became rich later in life. Now, go look at how they dress. They're usually wearing khakis and buttoned up shirts or whatever. They're not wearing anything fancy. They may have nice homes and stuff like that, nice cars. Some of them still don't get the most extravagant car you can get, right? Because they're working to get money. They don't care necessarily how they get, well, they care how they get it, but they don't necessarily care how they look when they try to get it. The money is an image enough for them. They don't care about wearing gold chains, platinum chains, and expensive clothes or whatever. They don't care about looking like they are successful, even when they're not, because our culture is the fake it till you make it type thing. Where even if they're broke,
who taught us that?
Our own entertainers did.
Okay, no, but we're gonna back up even further than that.
Go ahead.
A lot of, since I was able to understand what this world was and how things work, there's always been a saying floating around. I can't necessarily pinpoint and say where this came from, but I know a lot of people who said fake it till you make it. I was in, before I went to college, I was in a Cornell Business School that said, a lot of professors in there. I spent a few weeks up there in Cornell because I actually wanted to go to Cornell University. I just didn't have the grades in the paper to keep that, to actually go there and keep that going. Mm-hmm. But one of the things in that curriculum, we can create any resume for you. If you have the language, the verbatim to go in, so basically on the black side of the game, if you have the gift of gab, if you can lie on your resume and you can act a part, you can get any damn thing you want, right? Mm-hmm. So this is from my 10th grade year on, plugging this into your head. So they're saying basically you can fake it till you make it. And they've been putting, like, that blew my mind. But in the places that I wanted to work, from my experience and what I wanted to do as far as legal or corporate, now that changed because now I have to go to school for a certain amount of years to obtain this letter or this degree, this paper, to even get in the dough. And so it just changed my reality on certain things. And I held that shit, I pushed it off as long as I could, Big Red. Mm-hmm. Until my experience in life, and my experience in working these jobs was not enough. Now the newcomers who had degrees with no experience was coming in over me, making more money, but failed within the first 2-3 months of them working that job. Why? They didn't have the experience I had to deal with the same aspects and situation. Mm-hmm. So where's the balance? There was no balance there, but they came down, So I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to go out and get this paper to compete and get into this game. And all my experience, I'm edging everybody out. So I had to kind of put myself in a position, like you said, to have balance, to have understanding, and know where to shoot and go at, and not just hinder myself. Because sometimes we can be, like you said, everybody who in the chat room said earlier, it's us. Sometimes we hinder ourselves from being the greatest version that we could be. And so that was one of my examples tonight of what happened to me. But I'm good now. And even in some of my other businesses, I had to go back and look at things that happened to me in my past in order for me to reach the next level of existence, and how I'm going to attack this in 2022, or how I'm going to do this in 2022, is to go back and analyze my mistakes, or not being assertive enough, or just taking things as things come. People know I'm good. Like I did a lot of my work I've done from 2015 till now, and it's been good. It's been good for me. Word of mouth. Word of mouth has been my greatest asset. Paying marketers and certain people to put yourself in certain places to do certain things. Me going to authors events, going to conventions and different things like that. Not so good. I'm not known out there like that. They're not picking up the books like that. They're not, whatever that is. But you have to learn from your experiences, because I've spent a lot of money doing these things. And I'm just going to say, spending this money, spending this time, pushing that back and equating it to life experiences, it's a must. If we don't learn from the obstacles that's placed in front of us, or things that we do that we're going to achieve from based on somebody else, we start to go back and look at ourselves. That includes racism. That includes blocking you employment-wise. At my job now, people always, I have a lot of people ask me, it's like, wow, like everybody knows you. Everybody's this, they say this about you, this and the third. Why? I want everybody to know what I do. I want them to know my experiences. I want them to know who I am as an individual and person. I don't want you to know or figure that I'm the same as what you stereotype. That's not what I'm doing. That's not the game I'm playing. I want you to know the most out of me that you can. I want you to know there are lines with me. You cross these lines, you do certain things, you out of here. So sometimes you even have to put lines in place, or boundaries, they say boundaries, and certain things in place to where as though this is not going to happen. This is not what we're doing. If you genuinely hear from me, I'm genuinely here for you. We can work together, we can network, we can do whatever, but certain things I'm just not doing. And so I had to put these points in places, and to go back to what you said earlier, sometimes we are our own worst enemy. That's true. But there's a system out here too, that if you don't know how to adapt or fit into those spaces, or get into those spaces to where so you at least have an opportunity to present, or opportunity to grow yourself, it's just not going to happen. You got to do it, bro. We have to be uncomfortable.
I think the fake it till you make it thing, we know people, we probably included, may have fudged some information on some job interview applications or whatever to, make it look like you know a little bit more than you actually know so you can get the job. That's all fine and dandy. That's good. This is what I would call appreciating value, right? You fake it till you make it, you get the job, you get your money, and you keep working hard till you get something better, or you be like Bill Gates. Maybe you have some program like Microsoft. Highly doubt doubtful, but you fake it till you make it, so you can make your value worth more.
And
Financially, you make more money that way. What, right? You get the job you want to get, right?
yes,
Then there's the fake it till you make it that I would call depreciating value. This is what I would call not having a job or being on the low income side, but buying
survival mode.
buying expensive things, buying Jordans, buying expensive champagne when you only have Kool-Aid money. That's depreciating value when it
Yes.
comes to fake it till you make it. That doesn't help it. Renting stuff to make it look like you have stuff. There have been certain entertainers that we've what was that TV show used to come on MTV where they used to show off the houses?
MTV Cribs.
Yeah. And I'm finding out years later that damn near every one of those houses were
They
rented.
didn't own them.
Yeah. Or not even, a lot of them didn't even rent it. They just put it on for that episode and put furniture in and made it look like it was theirs. And then they were out right after the episode ended.
Mm-hmm.
And people watched it back then. I'm like, man, I would love to live in a place like that. I'm going to aspire to be this type of entertainer so I can live in this type of thing. And
Wow.
I remember watching some of these things. I'm like, they're popular, but they're not that popular. I don't think they got that kind of money, to live in a place like that. The only person that didn't fake it till you make it was Redman.
Reggie Noble.
Yep.
Yo, I remember. I was great to see that. I remember, man. Listen,
he had to wire his doorbell to get work. Had people sleeping all in the floor in his house and stuff, but he
told the truth. He was like, I rode a hoopty for a minute,
That was one of my favorite episodes. But it's that right there, man. It's like they had to portray a certain image because the value that they had themselves was not high. These other people I just mentioned, Jeff Bezos, let's put him on the image too. I don't know if he lived a affluent lifestyle before he became a billionaire, but they still to this day they don't dress, fancy or flash.
And one thing we have to be careful of, right? As a culture and this planet, a lot of these people came from out of nowhere. They were like placed here, and a story was being created behind them. Like they're this smart individual, or they do this and that and the third, blah, blah. We got this, and we're studying this, blah, 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 blah. A lot of these, to me, I don't give a damn about them. None of these people. Now, I've seen people who've been in the game a long time and came up, right?
Right.
But you have somebody who came out of nowhere, or a series of people who came out of nowhere that media put in place, almost like an experiment or a plan. Like it's like, well, people are going to follow somebody that we say that they got money. They're philanthropists. They're this or they're that and the third. First of all, where did you come from? Where did this money come from? And now, why are you this all of a sudden this big tech giant? You're this big rocket scientist type of person. But none of this can happen if you don't have the workers to provide this for you. Where's the highlight on these workers? I mean, it's just so much. Like the first time we talking about Tesla, for instance, and they had this image of a fake dummy out in the car in the space floating around. I was like, come on, man, that's some CGI bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. Y'all can sit up here and think that you got this robot car, this car out there, one of the cars he made floating around out here, spinning around out in space, and it's on the third, and people say, oh, Tesla. I paid attention because of stock. right? It can get you to a different level, but to the storyline, no, I ain't paying attention to. Like, that's foolish. I read into it, but that's foolish to believe and think that this man is so smart, he's intelligent, and he has all this stuff. He got all these toys. He's like, it's like they try to create many images of Iron Man on a Marvel series. Feel me? And because people really like that, like, okay, maybe we'll create one of these on the outside, whether it's really going on or not. They can show us any images they want, but that's the images they want. That's a positive image. That's a image people like and accept. It's science. It's this, it's that, and the third. So on the opposite end, where's the science they teaching you about when you talk negative about people? You put people in a box. You intentionally hurting people. Where's the science to keep put out there to talk about how it hurts and degrades a people, destroys a people, but you want to keep talking about them like we ain't got no value or we ain't nothing. But one person, you got 4 or 5 people every 10 years that come out, oh, this is going on. We got NASA. Where's the talk about the psyop, the science, the psychological, the mental and emotional health of that? It ain't, all they keep showing is the effects of it out in media. So who controls the media and how they plan and put this stuff out there? It's an awful deal. But I would still say for us, we have ability to control ourselves each and every day. We could take advantage of a situation. We could flip a situation. Because we were born with the gift of gab. We were born with the mindset. And we can do these things every day. And it, it's just really about how we respond to the images, the mindset, all these portrayals, stereotypes. But be honest and truthful. If we managed our culture for ourselves, like if somebody goes out to rob somebody and rape somebody or do some shit like that, to put hands on them folk, man, and bring them back to reality. If you do this shit again, they're gonna do worse to you in prison. If we had enough businesses that were thriving, and one of the things that I was that I had my mindset to mention a little bit earlier, if I could hire people in my business right now because of the business, and well, let's go back to the economical, because we're not portrayed in a certain light or certain image. It's almost an excuse, bro, for them not to include us in contracts. When we go to the city, county buildings, or wherever we live at, to bid and apply for contracts and certain things, they exclude us. If we doing construction, we building, or however that goes, we're excluded out of a lot just already based on it's a minority-owned business, it's a black business, right? Out of the billions of dollars that are put out to all these other people and companies out there, we have the smallest percentage of the pie. Because people know this, we have to get out of the mindset of why we harming and hurting ourselves is to stop. Like, we don't even really, we try to assimilate and mimic what they think of business and what should be, who should we hire for our businesses, rather than us hiring our own. You see, does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So it's a lot of places that we are hurting and lacking from. Like, we don't get, you might hear 1 or 2 people, 3 people a year who get big contracts. Other than that, from the federal government to science to any other industry out there, we are the lowest on the totem pole to receive any help or assistance. Look at our farmers. Our farmers are, woo. A lot of them don't even own their own land no more, bro. A lot of them can't even. They struggle to make ends meet. They can't make ends meet, so they give up the whole thing that their family was, the land, everything. It's seek, take, and destroy. So, as much as sometimes you have the good people out there who are doing their due diligence and everything they can to hold on and to move forward, it's a lot harder for them that can't, because it's just the way the system was built, how it was put on us like that.
Yeah, I understand. We have less control over that aspect.
But personally,
Yeah.
we have a lot more control over what we do and how we put out images and certain things. We do that, yes.
Yeah.
Facts.
So let me. Okay, I'm gonna say. Let's get. I think this is the heart of the matter,
Mm-hmm.
and I've mentioned it several times. And the value. What's our self-worth? What is our self-value?
Mm.
I think this is why we allow to happen what happens. This is why we allow those negative images to be put out there, or to accept these negative images, to portray these negative images,
Mm-hmm.
to accept lump sums of money to do these things. And we don't care about if the right image is put out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell people, the people who are detractors to a Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion, it's not really that I think that they're bad, because we've had rappers like them in the past. We grew up on them.
Mm-hmm.
It's the mix of what we have out there. If we had a healthy mix, I don't think there's a problem, because like I said, Lil' Kim existed before all of them. You know, Luke existed before all of them. Is the oversaturation that we have of those images. If there was a Lauryn Hill and a Queen Latifah to balance those, and again, I say you have to have more on the positive side, just because of who we are in this country. You have to have more. You can't just equate it and have it equal on both sides. You have to have more, just because of who we are. If we had that, there would be no problem with them.
Yeah.
Being, on the forefront of rap or hip hop, whatever.
Because we would have enough
It's yin and yang.
images.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just-
But there's not.
Yeah. Well, just think about it, man. R&B.
Mhm.
I can't think of too many R&B songs out now to just say "I love you" on the song. It's all about sex, and cool. That's what most R&B is about. But where's a Luther Vandross? Where is he at? His type of here, Even Marvin Gaye talked about love. We
Mhm.
talk about sex too, healthy mix. But what rapper is out there? I mean, not rapper, but what R&B
R&B.
is that, male R&B more specifically, is out there that's talking about those things? I don't really hear it. I mean, like the majority of the albums like that, where they're just talking about love, or I want to marry you, or I want to just be with you. It's mainly just all sex and what I'm gonna do to you.
It's
That's the problem.
programming and conditioning to accept
Yeah.
less.
Yeah.
And again, it's funny because a lot of those R&B artists are independent, because our mindset
Yeah.
did not fit what the label was trying to put out there. So they're never going to be a favorite on anybody's list unless they start to see, oh, he got 1 million followers, he got 2 million followers, he getting hits like that, his music must be fire. So let's go back to. But even I've seen cases like that. So either management or the individual who's controlling or who's doing whatever he's doing to keep his masters and everything else that he has right now, they're like, nah, we ain't dealing with y'all. So they stuck right now on an understanding and conscious level, whereas though these artists are not dealing with them anymore, we're going to create and just build from a small scale to get out here and put out our own music. And if we were ever to plug back into the mainstream like that, what's in our contract to say that we have total creative control? We're going to get this amount of money for each record sale. We're going to get points. We're going to get X, Y, and Z. So it's a whole lot of that aspect that certain people, like, I've been in the industry. I've seen how they treated us if it wasn't, that we not aligned to their image. Then, you know, y'all done, whatever. Y'all make it how y'all make it. We here. So that type of attitude from those who are in positions to control for distribution, to get your music out there, they basically want your blood. They want your soul, bro. And it's not fair that it can't be. You're going to have some attorneys and different people to come in to manage that, to get you a nice balanced figure, so you can live, be able to save, create your legacy. But we've seen that that's not what they want. They want your soul. They want your rights. They want everything. They want your publishing. Anything they have, they want to snatch it from you before you even get out the door. But you're the one who's creating the music.
The game is to be sold, not your soul.
Yeah. But that's what it's going to end up being.
So how do we teach? Again, that's how do we teach our own what our value is? Because that's the whole problem in all that. We don't see our value from day one as babies until adulthood. They have to know the value, or else they're just going to continue. This is going to continue.
It's going to continue, yes.
You know. So what do we teach?
One of the things I would just say, Red, is that once we have the knowledge and understanding of what direction and where we want to go, I believe it's very important for us to network and connect with individuals who do have some type of influence or who can help us on that path. So that means negotiations. That means, let's say if you want to put a book out there about public images, who's going to be fair to me but get the job done, but not charge me thousands of dollars like these major public companies do, but set your ass on the shelf? You still ain't got nothing done, but you paid them $4,000 or $5,000 for something that Essential Publishing could have got done for you for $1,000 or less, and you would have had your material in every outlet and every venue in America. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those places where we still have to network and get out there to, if we have goals and aspirations, connect with the people who are genuine and who can put in the energy and time to get you where you need to be. I also would say too, for those who are in the oppressive place and mood, I don't have no problem with making them aware or flipping the turn of the situation back on them, put the ball back in their court, because that's real. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna go to somebody's restaurant and your waitress is whatever she's doing and she's not paying attention, or she comes back, whatever Mama, I know you've been here, but you're not getting a tip here. And I'm going to tell your manager how awful you was. We had to take our power back. Mm-hmm. You can't always just allow somebody else to do, or because of their their political position or where they grew up at. None of that shit even matters. When you come in a place where you have a job and you're working, you need to do your job, but you're not going to put your stuff on me, or you don't think that I'm deserving more than this couple over here who look like paper. We're not doing that. So we have to do that. When I said about talking about the negotiation piece, I think even with media, and you said earlier about our content takers, right? Mm-hmm. those who are out there who are putting out content and material, yeah, somehow or another, if that's what you always do, yeah, sometimes I say, yeah, expose buffoonery and BS, but also put content that's out there that's supporting and for our people as well.
I like to expose.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Expose some things, but also put out there too those who are doing some great things out here. Put that out there. Support them. I love that. Like I said, I've always been a fighter. I've been climbing that wall for a minute. I took a little hiatus for a second because I was just hurt on the music level by some of the people that I was supporting and trying to put out there, and they just turned their backs on me. That took a few years for me to get myself back. But I'm just saying that in these advertisement and these marketing departments need to have more diversity in it. So don't be afraid.
There you go.
Do not be afraid to go out there and apply to the different places, the companies. This is really needed in this day and age. I swear, like, I think on a whim, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go out to one of these A&R representatives in different places. I'm going to push this. And I want to have a job to where as though I have some influence on some of the stuff that marketing agencies in different places put out that's anti-racist or more balanced to what we have and what we need to do. In order for this, a lot of this to stop, to us to get to get the economical aspect and background to it, we have to support support our businesses. Yeah,
you got, like he said, you got to stop supporting the dumb stuff. But it does sell though.
Yeah,
because we consume it.
We consuming, and they continue to make.
All right,
and there has to be a balance in that, or we have to get a foothold in those aspects. Like, for instance, maybe about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I started to get into cigars and certain things, right? And I just remember how I was Jack Daniels, I was all these different, but I was like, okay, although Uncle Nearest, I said, I'm going to start support my own because I've been giving them money for how long? There is a whiskey, a bourbon out there, a black female. They have vodkas. It's a lot of stuff out there that we can go out there and support and order wines, black wines, and different stuff like that, as opposed to getting what we was already out here. Like, support them to be able to change the economical aspect, bro. To
that part there. That part there. Now, you probably can speak to that too. Okay, you have a business, let's just say a clothing line. And you have your own people trying to support you want your own people to support you. Support black-owned businesses, right? How many times, and I can say that is me as a business guy, business owner, how many times have you had people, not your friends, that you're just of the same race, right?
Right. Yes, sir.
Discount. Come on, help a brother out. Give me a discount. I'm like, come on. The way you can support me is to actually support me at full price. Why you need a discount? You're going to put me out of business if I give everybody a discount just because we look the same.
Right.
Not seeing the value of what you have. Now, you'll go pay full price for his clothing line. Or bag, Gucci wear, whatever like that.
Yes, sir.
Made of the same material, has the same handle, inside's the same, comes from the same factory, but because of the name on the front, you don't see the value in it. Because you don't, and probably because you don't see the value in your skin. So you go and purchase him at full price, but you want a discount because you got a discount on your own value. That's why. That's another reason why we get the products we get put out there like that, because we don't see the value in ourselves. We want our own selves at a discount.
Wow. I mean, now, Big Red, I ain't gonna sit here and lie to you, bro. If my son or my daughter came to me, if you came to me, if my cousin came, if Vitamin D came, something like that, I would give them a discount because they have supported me
Yes,
in certain things of that aspect. But
that makes sense.
Somebody new, that's coming along,
no relation,
no anything. We had no rapport. You have nothing. It's the business price.
right?
That's that you will get. You will be satisfied, but it's going to be the business price. But for my family, I'm going to offer them a discount. There's just.
I mean, I get that it's family, and you
it's in my
probably
heart,
only got
my
a
soul.
certain amount of family that does that too. I imagine, not just you. I'm sure you have extended family, second, third cousins, and all that. You know, but you got your family here.
But it's the ones right here that I'm going to be, that will get that discount because it's crazy. Ever since I've been brought into this world, I've been a nurturer and a supporter. But I have learned how to, if you're going to be in business, you have to do what you have to do. You have to charge and support your business because it's a business. It ain't got nothing to do with no feelings. And how I used to say was like, I've been a part of 2 businesses, and this is I'm just throwing this out there. And it's like we're our own enemy to ourselves. Whether you're in a marriage or relationship, a benefit, however it goes, friends, you just having sex, whatever that is. And you have a business that you're doing together. You cannot combine the 2. And this is a worst enemy situation that I've been a part of 3 businesses I thought that I could try to push, but having an intimate relationship with the female and things don't go her way or how she dictates or how it's supposed to go, she's going to pull back. She's going to pull out of the whole situation or leave you hanging, regardless of the financial responsibility that y'all put in place. And guys do that too. So it goes both ways.
All right.
So if you're going to be in business, I would just say if you marry, that's a whole different set of, because you already committed, but you have to put boundaries and certain things in place. This has to be in your bylaws. This has to be in every aspect of your business situation to where something happened. No, person can't pull out. They can't do this. They can't do that because they mad or whatever that is. This has been a detriment for us. When I was 26 years old, I met a German family who came over to America, and the mother was like, whew. She was ready to break it off with the husband or whatever like that because he ended up seeing and messing with an American girl here. But for the sake of family, for the sake of the business, she stayed. But she put boundaries in place.
For the husband?
So she was like, basically, I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to be your business partner. I'll be your friend. I'm going to be whatever. I'm going to be a parent to my children. But I'm detaching myself from you from an intimate basis until I can get over what happened. So she put boundaries and certain things in place, but she stayed. But look at the benefit of it, though.
Mhm.
A lot of us don't have that mindset. Our first mindset, without taking accountability for our acts in any situation, business or otherwise, is I'm going to hurt and destroy the other person. I'm going to make them look bad. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to pull out. But you forget about that's personal. But you're going to pull out of the business aspect, which could hurt you even more. It's things that we need to think about, because we know our partners, we know certain things prior to even getting where you are. You just have a hopeful aspect of that person, like that person gonna do better, they're gonna do this X, Y, and Z. So we need to look at that aspect too. One of the things I would just say too, Red, and I'm not gonna keep you too long. Where I work at now, we have a diversity and inclusive practices at the workplace, and I've never seen before how it was so big that they had to make through 3 Zoom conference calls to even put the information out or put that in place.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that was big. That meant to me that the world is somehow changing their view. They see stuff happening on a regular level that we're dealing with, that they not quote unquote allowing and accepting certain things. And even if they are, at least they're willing to learn.
Right.
And if you're not willing to learn, they're in this space to learn how they can turn up their game even more to hurt or disrupt the practice of diversity and inclusiveness. That's resolve. Our people need resolve.
We do.
See what I'm saying? It's a difference.
Resolve and accountability.
They have resolve, discipline. They can fake it till they make it, and they will stay in positions and gathering information. The information that we gather, we need to be in a private space to where we can share this information and get better and learning, so we can get better and being who we are and how we're supposed to respond to all this. Whether we got private communities, whether we're moving, it's a commitment, it's a goal. I'm seeing that these folk have a resolve, a commitment, and a goal, an agenda. Why can't we have it? Why can't we have it do the same?
What's our agenda? What do you think the ones are faking it till they're making it and doing it for other people's approval, I guess? What do you think their agenda is? Is their agenda to be rich? Is their agenda to get validation?
See, my theory on this, right? And like I'm saying, it's true. But I know probably about 85%, 90% of people who've been in this situation change once they get the paper. So in the past, I've had people that I kept in touch with who we may have been running together in the past. They went to prison, something like that, right? Even with their significant others or fiancés, wives, or girlfriends, or just whoever, somebody writing them, whatever. They always said, when I get out of here, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. I got this plan. Been thinking about this for a long time. I always wanted to do this. I wanted to X, Y, and Z, blah, 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 blah. Right? When they get out and get on their feet, what's the first thing they do to that plan, bro?
End up going backwards.
They don't execute the plan. They throw it out the window because they feel like I'm good.
It's not coming fast enough.
I'm good. Or like it was when they come out that space, they don't have any family. They might not have anybody else to take them in. They might have burned bridges in the past, right?
Right.
They don't have that space of that individual who's going to provide them with the basic necessities. So that means housing. You know, you got some warmth, got some water, you got a shower, you got electricity. You might have some sex. There's certain things that people say and do when they're in need, when they don't have, right? But when they come out, it's a whole total different situation. The reason why I'm pointing this out tonight is because people who are coming, you might be rapping 20 years of your life. You might have been an artist, an actor, 20 years of your life. Ain't that first major role. Might have been a football player, just getting his first contract and whatever that may be. The whole problem with the whole situation is you're humble when you're down. But when you get that paper in your hands, it's something totally different. You don't do what you say you was going to do with the paper before you got it. So that creates a whole nother aspect of being an enemy to yourself, your family, your legacy, or whatever that you have when you coming out and going to do this business and do that. You don't convince people to invest in your business and do certain things, and you got everything set up. But when you come out and you in a good position, a good place, your company did give for the first 2 years, your mindset is not the same as it was when you was grounded. So if you don't keep that same grounded space, you don't follow through what you say you're going to do, you're going to fail every time. And this is a cycle that I've seen that's been happening with our people. So it's a history of that. Legacy, history. And it's a bad thing. So I don't know how to tell people to get into that space. Like, you have that much focus when you're behind bars, or you have that much focus to play ball, to become a lyricist that people want to listen to and follow and pay you. You got merchandise, you got all these things. But once you get there to that point and money's coming in and everything is good, now you lose focus. You fall off. You're not on the path no more. They counting on that. The enemy is counting on that for you to give back what you've earned, worked hard for, to Gucci, to all these other Caucasian platforms out there that we think are relevant and they're good, when it's material. It could have came from China. It could have came from Korea. It could have came from different places. You don't know that.
Right. Because
it's being circumvented. It's coming back. They might have got that. You made that purse for $5, but you paying $6,000, $2,000, $3,000. You understand? So I'm getting ready, like I said, even for myself, for the IOM Issues of Men platform. I'm going to create something very affordable for our people. And not just it's an issue of men. Anything that's an issue of men is an issue of woman. Think it's not?
All right. That makes sense.
You think it's not? Because we can't do anything without each other. You think you can. But you're going to need us as a culture as a whole to pull together to move through a lot of things that we have, our traumas, drama, the subject tonight. If we don't pull together and do what we need to do, It's going to be another hard task, but we need to get in the game financially and have a commitment to what we are, the focus goal, what we need to do. Red?
Yeah.
I don't understand. It's what we need to do. And
if we can look at each other like a group of people instead of independently, I think too many people are trying to do everything on their own.
You need a
You
team.
look at you see a lot of people who have become rich and they call themselves self-made millionaires, and there's no such thing as a self-made anything.
Not.
And
Period.
yeah,
Period.
we see that. They know that, but we see that, and we try to do what they think, what we think they're doing. And yeah, to the fall of our own, everyone is trying to look out for their own, and no one's trying to pick up the person that's below them. They're just not look up for their own, trying to hang out with the upper
It's
class.
crazy because Red, look, I shit. Okay. All right, look. I've been in New York many a times. I've been around Dominicans. I've been around Cubans. I've been around Spanish. I've been around I've been around Jewish. And we've all had conversations. But a lot of these people that I had these conversations with, they have businesses, they have things they have going on, right?
Mhm.
A lot of them, not that they're racist or anything like that, but a lot of them just have this thing. It's respect and loyalty.
Mhm.
I've been in some places where I've had them. They didn't give a damn if they had a mistress or not. Whatever they had me to come to, they was fixing food from scratch. They was bringing drinks. They was bringing whatever,
Mhm.
because you bring in that paper. They making you feel like family. Whereas on the other end, we had conversations. We sit down. They tell you that there was like, this has happened. This is my history. This is that, and the third.
Mhm.
But I don't see you that way. Why did they see you that? Why did they say that? They said that because we're both entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
We're both making money. I don't want anything to happen to you. I'm protecting my interests. But when you go on the other side of the game, you talk about you want to deal with minority people in the drug game or just whatever it goes.
Mhm.
They want to take. They're not protecting your interests. They don't give a damn what happened to you when you go out that door. But these folk do. These folk do. They're gonna make sure you get to where you need to get to. They're not setting you up. They're not doing none of that shit. You see, it's the mindset is different.
Mhm.
So even in business today, for anything that we doing, that has to change. As somebody's been regularly bringing you $50,000 a week, or coming to your clothing store downtown, uptown in New York, or whatever the hell that is, and he's purchasing these clothes from you to come back, bring it right down here, the new styles. We got new Nikes. We got the dresses, baby. Summertime coming, springtime coming. We doing it. You know what I'm saying? The
Right.
sundresses. There has to be some type of trust, and there has to be some type of aspect to where you're doing these things. And I think a lot of times, like, we might have burned our trust by doing some underhanded shit or the
Yeah.
dysfunctional thinking. And now they're looking at us crazy because they was like, no, you different.
Mhm.
Why am I different from all those other folk? It's strange, but I just told him, I said, I appreciate that. I bet you if I still went there to this day, they would recognize me.
Mm-hmm.
Are they still alive? It's because of the how you handle the business. It's how you handle yourself. And I think even in political arenas, instead of you need to stand your ground. When we talk about being out here every day, stop shooting our kind, stop shooting whatever that shit is. I know there could be a better way to handle the situations and certain things. Handle that shit behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about this shit first. Talk about it first. Shoot last.
That sounds like that would be a good phrase. Somehow, talk first, shoot last.
And I promise you, in between that, from what I learned from me being on the street for 15 years, somebody was jealous or upset or mad and went to somebody else on the pretense of getting you out the way.
Mm-hmm.
Just on the aspect of, okay, yeah, I'm gonna tell this person that they did that. Not even true. Now they put you in a situation to eliminate their competition so they can come up. But they're not even gonna be there because they don't even have the aspect of management of the situations they want to get into. But they want to be where you at. They want to make the money where you at.
Right.
And so it's just a whole chain of things that we have and we've been going through for a long time. And my last thing that I would probably want to say for the night, Red, is, we have, even in my book, this place in there, we have to have the ability for our own people to stop judging and hurting ourselves. Stop hurting just because we hurting. Stop hurting other people.
Definitely. And
handle our business behind closed doors instead of public. There has to be some type of compromise or understanding behind closed doors. Take off the masks, take off the hurt, take off the pain, because we've been carrying that for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you want to hurt your own business aspects, legal or illegal, and put it in public view where they can scrutinize you and tear you down? Like, they're the reason why this is, but they have the same entities in business, except for they are not doing the same things that y'all are doing out on the street level, and they catch y'all. Does that make sense?
And you're gonna get in trouble much worse than they are.
Facts. Like, you're gonna get snatched from your families, your friends, your children, your nieces, cousins, everybody. And now you're going to plug into their system by supporting them on the inside. How stupid is that? All right, great. We want to support them.
Hustling backwards.
But look at look at that. You keep pouring into that situation. That's all I'm saying. This is.
I get you, man. I understand. It's deep issues that, like I said, can't be solved in a day, and it can't be solved with one person at a time. It's got to be a group of people that come together to try to fix this.
And Red, in the state of Virginia, I ain't gonna say where. They say like a Highlander without, there's not only one. There's a gathering. There's a quickening. You ever heard of Highlander before?
Yeah, I mean the TV show.
It's the quickening. But the quickening is for a positive space and a teaching. You talk about the dude. He called it. I was laughing. I was like, "Why did he use Grandmaster?" Who's on the military aspect of protecting black folk. I can't think of his name right now. Damn, but I was like, "Damn, why did he say Grandmaster?" But I get it because it's comedic. They're allowed to use the Grandmaster, but we're not allowed to use the Grandmaster. but I'm the grandmaster about whooping it and whooping your ass. How about that? So I was like, wow. I said, yo, I like this dude. Even for her sisters, like, yo, I want to give a shout out to Sister Alexa. Yo, keep doing what you're doing. Go ahead and get to that training. Yeah. I know, because anywhere we go, you'll need it at some point in time in your life.
Yes, right.
And shit for us all, bro. Like, this is real. It's real out here.
All we gotta do is just find the value in each other. You know, gotta find the value in each other's voice. Gotta be open to hearing other people's opinions.
Mm-hmm.
There's not one way to do anything. We are not a monolithic people. We are just as intelligent as anyone else.
Absolutely. And on a political scale, we have to get in, groom, and invade these spaces. And a lot of times why we get X'd out is because by the time we figure out, like, we need to handle certain specific things in the political arena, there's all these rules that come to that. Whether you gotta beg the public for a certain amount of money, you gotta have a certain amount of money in your kitty. You have to go out and visit some of the homes. You got to do. There's certain political aspects of putting yourself in place to overthrow these tyrants, these czars out here, or those who have the money. Like, the money isn't the problem for them, but it's a problem for us. So they have to focus on getting the background, everything way up front, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years before you even come into this new local elections and certain things. Because if you falter on either one of those, it's almost like if somebody trying to get some type of Medicare or get to some type of services for medical, right? If they asked you, when I used to work for social services, if somebody asked you to come to an appointment, right? He was to be here at 11 o'clock a.m. and it's going to be at Big John's Street, 11 a.m. These folk, as opposed to finding a ride, finding the money to get an Uber, or getting somebody to be able to get you there for your appointment to get you approved for your Medicaid or Medicare because of your age and situations that are happening with your body, they go over to their neighbor's house and just chill, smoke, drink, whatever the hell they do, and not go to the appointment. So the next time they come in for services or try to figure out what's going on with their application, they're angry because they didn't, they was like, well, so what did they say? On this document they sent back here to us, you didn't follow through with the appointment. We didn't see you, you didn't come through, whatever like that. So your services are terminated. So therefore they have to reapply again because they didn't find a ride to go up there with the documentation that they requested to approve the Medicaid or Medicare or whatever the hell that shit is. And now everything is done. Like, you ain't got no coverage, nothing. Anything happened to you this day, you go into a hospital, go anywhere, they ain't even got to even see you. They see you, but they're going to flush out the door. You might as well say you good as dead.
All right.
And so this is what I would say, as a people, if you're trying to achieve something, you put the effort and time into it. If they say, come see my doctor, come see this, bring this paperwork, be on time and get there and bring and do that paperwork, because they, from a history, they know it's documented. If you don't get there and do what you need to do on time, they cutting that. It's already documented, and they never have to see you again. Like, your services are done. We ain't got to pay you. Bye. So I'm just saying, on the same token, we have to get on the level for ourselves to where we have to really start supporting our businesses. We have to really start supporting each other. And you have the opportunity, if the business sense or something that happened in that business that's not great, it's not good, you have the place to say so first and tell them, like, I didn't like this, I didn't like that, like that. They can improve. They can grow from your feedback. A lot of people don't know, but your feedback is important. But the financial aspect of us moving forward in the future is important. We need to get these private contracts. We need to get these federal contracts. We need to get in there towards our families, our businesses, and people who we hire, because everybody else hire their own.
All right.
I'm just saying, we have to get in there and do what we do. I'm one of them. When I first started getting, if I get a publishing grant, or I start getting certain things like that from the companies that I have, I'm hiring other folk. I contract other folk to do what I need them to do, and that helps them out because they were underprivileged, but they had great skills. I just need to plug into them a little bit more to see where they're at on a family basis, whatever that is. Like, where are you at in your life? Because COVID has delayed and taken, people that I chose before, they were doing excellent. Once COVID came, depression, certain things that started setting in that I don't have control over anymore. It's scary. But I'm just saying, as far as this whole aspect of us choosing our images and how we do and how we reflect and how we do things, it's all on us, family. We have to do it ourselves. We can't depend on nobody else to do it for us. And just put out the information. I know, Red put out information. I put out information. You send it to either one of us, we're going to get it out there. And people are going to try, but you have to put forth your best effort. Because, damn, I know if Walmart or McDonald's done some shit to y'all go back there the next day.
Yep. There's McDonald's.
For real. I'm just saying. But give people the same opportunity to do the same, to correct and fix it. If not, come to one of us, because I'm going to approach them. I'm going to handle it, because you're not doing that to our folk. Give a fuck who you do it on the other end, but not to us. Period.
All right. Good stuff there. Good stuff, man. We're going to end the show on that note there then. And I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to Style Therapy with me, Big Red, and Chris Styles. Chris Styles also author of the book Open Wounds. You want to tell people how to get that book again?
So you could purchase, I'm still working on the website, but you could purchase Open Wounds. You go to Amazon, which I really deflect. I don't even want to do all of that shit. I got books here, boxes of books here. So if you go to Ascension, Ascension Services on Cash App, just say it's $15. It's $4 to send it to you directly. More than one, call me. We can talk about it. 804-212-5347. You can also send me an email at ascensionpublishingllc@gmail.com or author Chris Allen @gmail.com. You can order your books that way as well, and definitely I'm gonna get them out to you. And that's what we're working on right now, man. These books have been life-changing for a number of people. single females, fathers, young men. I have a adult book and also a youth book from ages 10 up to the age of 18, because I personally do not believe that as young women, as young men, we're not grown. Well, we're not grown at that point in time. And if you say that you are, you faking the phone for real. So I'm just saying that that's what I have my age group at right now. Definitely a great read, a great book. This book has been mending traumas and different things that happen between separated parents with their child and things like that. It's a gap, it's a bridge to mend that gap to where so they can go and talk and move forward. And also and if you whether you're ready for it or not, it will trigger some aspects of your life personally to where it will trigger you to go get that healing, that growth, that wholeness that you need. And for me, that was the most important aspect that I've received as far as this book is concerned, is just that. So you can reach me at 804-212-5347. And also, if you put in your Cash App with the book and your telephone number, or you can email me, again, at Ascension Publishing LLC at gmail.com, author Chris Allen at gmail.com. Each book is $15 if you order in bulk. Of course, it's going to be a little bit less than that. And let's get it. Let's get it into the Department of Justice. Let's get it into group homes. Let's get it in the places it needs to be to help with the furtherment of healing, personal growth, and just the betterment of our lives and how we treat each other and how we move about.
All right, brother. Good thing. Good stuff right there. All right. So appreciate you coming on the show again, man. And everyone else who has tuned in, thank you for tuning in to Hostile Therapy. Not because you want to, but because you need.
I need it, bro. Look, this is therapy for me.
It's therapy for all of us. Right?
Absolutely.
We will see you as I think we're off next week. We'll be back in a couple of weeks on Thursdays at 7 o'clock again on YouTube. Turn into the YouTube channel, Hostile Therapy Show.
Sir. Follow Big Red.
Hostile Therapy. See you on the next show. Y'all have a good night.
Peace. I love y'all.